It's April the 9th, 2025. I am at Joel Pearl, thejoelpearl.com on Blue Sky. I'm back. It's time to get in the weeds. Jeremy Lambert never left. He never does. He's doing everything all the time, always, except for tomorrow, where it's going to be myself and SP3. But that's not important. Today, it's myself. Jeremy Lambert's here, as he always is. Good morning. How are you doing, pal?
I'm well. I'd say it's good to have you back, Joel, but I don't want to lie to the people. So, hello.
You suck. So glad I came back for this. It's okay. I'm only here for 1 week and then I go away again anyway. So what am I now? Gonna be sitting
I will be taking a break tomorrow. I'll be on the show tomorrow. I'm gonna pop in at some point, say hello, keep my streak alive of not missing any shows. But I'm not working a full day tomorrow. Yeah, I need a day off. I need a rest. I need to not worry about wrestling.
I get it. Take a day off. We're getting into the busy parts of the season. So you deserve at least a Thursday, which won't be too busy unless you're covering TNA.
Hopefully.
What's funny is, so first of all, I apologize to those who are TNA fans and wanted the post show. Thursday was, this is my first time on a show since Thursday morning. I've explained it to a couple of people. I was supposed to do the TNA post show on Thursday night last week. Then the Sportsnet app, which is the only way to watch TNA in Canada right now, unless you have cable, then you can watch it on Sportsnet, the television station. I don't have cable. I was using the app, and the app kept going ham on me. Like, it would not work. It would like load up a picture and then freeze and then boot me out. I tried doing that for the first hour of the show, and I'm like, I'm too far behind now to even catch up and like try to do the show live because I'll be frazzled and I just won't be able to do the show. And then of course all the things happen on that TNA episode, and I'm just like, people are going to be asking questions about why we didn't do a TNA post show, and I tweeted out why, but not everyone sees what's going on Twitter and on Blue Sky and on other socials. So I apologize. I should have winged it. Henry in the chat saying I should have. I knew what was happening. Like, I knew the International Championship was coming. I knew that they were going to do the triple threat setup to get to Unbreakable. Like, I knew the DMC was gone, that's all one story. I knew about the Joe Hendry stuff. Like, I knew what was happening, but I also wasn't going to speak on it like an idiot, because I'd rather speak on it like an educated idiot, which is what I do here most of the time. It happens. I will be back on Thursday with Cresta Star. We'll do our Impact post show, and of course the week after that is Unbreakable, and there's a live Collision, so I'm pretty sure Collision's gonna outrank that, even though Iridian and Rick are both in Vegas and so am I. Not that I do the Collision post show, but Cresta will be solo at that point, so maybe Cresta and SP3 will do a Collision post show. I don't know, but that's how the next couple of weeks are looking. It's very strange. So I apologize for missing the TNA post show, and of course, then my mom came in, and just the whole weekend was a wash. I watched barely anything. I caught up on everything, and I'm here. I'm clear. I don't want any more bears.
Bears.
It's a Simpsons reference. You're fine.
Oh, I watched an episode of South Park last night where they do the special ed science fair, and Jimmy and Timmy create water bears, and then the NFL comes in, and the water bears are the new fans because the NFL is losing fans. So that's my bear point of reference right now, is the water bears from the special ed science fair in South Park.
My point of reference is leaving a thumbs up on the video. How about we start with that? Let's get the pyro going. Let's point to the sign season. Set the sign on fire, Jeremy. Yeah, there we go. Setting that sign on fire while you leave a thumbs up on the video and subscribe to us here at Fightful Overbooked. On our way. I want 20,000. 1 week to do it. Can we do it? I want you to do it. Get us there. 20,000 subscribers. Let's do it. Come on. And of course, you can donate a super chat. Any amount, get your question or your statement read on the air, and it directs the conversation, and it gives back to our community, which I appreciate. And as you know, I was pointing out, the truth is Joel made up the app crash excuse because he actually doesn't like TNA. Who let you into my brain? What are you doing here, Zeno Hour? Get out of my head.
Joel running from the grind of TNA, the very important TNA post show.
People really appreciate it. I get weird messages from people at TNA. Why wasn't there a post show? It's all right. SP3, if you're needed, I'm sure Cresta would appreciate your hands on deck. And I guess Kate's also in town, but we'll see. I'm sure there will be a Collision post show because, like I said, Collision is live next week, whereas TNA is a tape show followed by a live show that starts at 10 p.m. Eastern, and there's no post show for Unbreakable. So I'm not even going to Unbreakable because my plan right now is to go to Bloodsport.
Cowardly.
No offense, TNA. As much as I want to see Steve Macklin win the international championship, I think I'm going to go watch Bloodsport.
What do you think of my idea of, since you haven't been here since last Thursday?
True.
What do you think of my idea that this TNA championship should have been called the TNA Unbreakable Championship, and it should be 3-way matches only?
You know what? I actually really liked it because it is something different. Yeah. It's something that, because you and I talked about how calling it the International Championship felt like a cop-out. And again, that was a conversation I also had with people within TNA who were just like, well, what else would you name it? And I was like, I don't know. This makes more sense. Calling it the Unbreakable title and then doing triple threats is fine. I'm much happier doing something different than going after the same tropes that other companies do.
You know what I don't understand, Joel? Why don't any of these companies come to me for ideas? I got a million of them. I don't know if they're always good. Most of them aren't. But like, if you need an idea, I got ideas. I got plenty. Just pluck them out. I'm like the manatees in Family Guy, another South Park reference. Just throwing shit out there. That was great. So I don't know why they don't come to me for this. They could have easily come to me and be like, hey, Jeremy, we want to do a new title. We're thinking of calling it the international title. What do you think? I say, hey, that's a dumbass idea. There's another company who already has an international title. You don't want to do that. How about this? And they'd be like, hey, you know what? That's actually one of your smarter ideas. And I said, thank you. Now pay me. And we move forward with that. I just don't understand why I'm not utilized better by every single wrestling company. You should all come to me and let me pitch them ideas.
Hey, you know what? If it were up to me, you would be getting the bag. You'd be getting that wrestling idea bag. SP3 doesn't know. He's too busy being serious about wrestling. That doesn't pay the bills. Being serious about nothing pays the bills. You never be serious and you'll be okay. By the way,
I trolled SP3 so well.
I did listen to this. By the way, screw you for bringing up the cuck song. You mentioned
that was good. Yeah.
I was like, that was a good one. I'm like, I'm sitting here doing dishes, and all of a sudden, no, that's Joel. What did I do?
I had too much fun on this show. It's upsetting.
That's why you need to get paid by the wrestling people.
Yeah.
That's why the people need to pay us for our ideas. That's right. Oh God, the triple threat thing. So I gotta say, it's gonna probably be, if I had to guess, Eric Young, Steve Macklin, AJ Francis. Which, by the way, is like that's hell for some people in wrestling to have to watch that. But I'm a fan because I like what EY and Macklin are up to. I like AJ Francis. I've said this a million times. So like the match itself, if that's what it's going to be at Unbreakable, I'm all for it. It's going to be fun. I'm sure I could actually look up the spoilers and pick that out right now. But I'm just looking at the 3 matches and I'm like, oh, those are the ones. But yeah, man, it's just that's what's Unbreakable right now is that tournament, and then maybe the Latin Ali match. It'll be Ali in like a 6-man tag. Him and the Great Hands versus Santana and the Rascals. I don't know what else you can do because Joe Hendry's not on the card. Joe Hendry's they're benching him until the pay-per-view. He's got to do the triple threat.
What a dumb title reign.
Is Ethan Page gonna walk into Rebellion with the NXT North American Championship? Because that would be hilarious.
Well, he's got to beat off 5 other guys if he's gonna win this title.
Phrasing. What have I missed?
I'm so tired. Terrence is talking about great hand jobs. You know. I'm not wrong though. He's gotta.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
He's got to go through 5 other guys.
Yeah.
With his fists.
And you get in a match, and you get in a match, and you get in a match. HBK Oprah out here just handing out matches. Sucks.
Just an
It
incredible
sucks.
moment. Just an incredible moment. Not just that, but just all of NXT. You know what? I don't want to get into NXT yet because you know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about the Ottawa Senators making the playoffs, baby.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. You know, the Ottawa Senators, good on them, making the playoffs. You know, we'll see how they do. I'm looking forward to the NHL playoffs. Much like in basketball, my team has clinched. Like we've been knowing our spot for about 2 weeks now. So these games have become pretty meaningless. But so I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to the playoffs and the NBA and the NBA. I'm gonna be a train wreck, Joel. I'm gonna be such a wreck. I might miss so many shows in the next couple of months because I'm just gonna be. It's gonna be just not great, not in great shape, folks.
If you're anything like me, and you know the Sens hadn't made the playoffs since 2017.
No, I'm not like you when it comes to sports. You know this.
Oh, I'm aware. I'm saying to the fans out there.
Okay.
If they're anything like me, I don't take sports theory seriously. First time since 2017 is pretty neat. That's a big deal for the Ottawa Senators, and they've been in a rebuilding year. You know, when your owner dies and you get a new owner, and the new owner is actually invested in the team, it's nice to see some wins. But of course, they got in like the most Sens way possible, which was they lost to the Blue Jackets and had to wait for the the Red Wings to win last night. They win or lose? They had to lose. Sorry, the Wings had to lose.
Lost.
Yeah. Oh my God. But I remember watching the end of the game and being like, all right, how is the other game going? And it was like 50 seconds left and the Wings were losing. I was like, all right, well, the Sens made it. That's great in the most ridiculous way possible. But glad they did. Glad the Sens are in the playoffs.
And could be, it was a meaningless game for the Stars. The Canucks had something to play for.
That ruled.
3 goals in 54 seconds.
Yeah,
that's
and
absurd.
the OT finish, OT finish on top. That was fantastic.
Yeah, that game was good. I didn't even watch the Avs game last night. I saw we beat the Knights in a shootout. Like, all right, sure. The games are like I didn't even watch the end of the Thunder game last night. Luka got ejected. I'm like, oh, that's kind of lame. He was just talking shit to a fan, and the refs got sensitive. Like, that's lame. I'm not even like gonna be braggadocious about that win. We beat a Lakers team because Luka got ejected. Otherwise, it was a really close game. So, but these games are meaningless right now for me. And then the playoffs are going to start, and I'm going to be stressed as can be. And my poor, lovely wife has to deal with me, and I feel awful for her.
She is wonderful. She deserves better when it comes to you at playoff time.
Oh, she deserves better just in general. I agree. But yeah, certainly during the playoffs. This is why I'm up until like 2 a.m. talking to the infamous Sammer, it's like 6 a.m. for him, and we're just commiserating over sports.
That was my favorite part about being in Australia, was that I could watch a hockey game at like 11 a.m. on a Monday, and it was live. That was the best.
Yeah, when I was in I went to Hawaii, and the games were on at like 10 a.m. or something, and it was very strange. And I'm like, hold on, basketball's on now? Like, it was nice, but it was just different having the games so early.
Yeah, 4-hour time zone shifts for Hawaii is nice. Even for me, like going to Vegas and doing all this WrestleMania and just all the wrestling stuff happening at like 4:30 bell time for like a 5 o'clock show is wild. Because like on the Monday when I fly out after Raw, like I'm planning to go to the Raw after Mania, and I'm like, that show's going to be done by 8 o'clock, and my flight leaves at 11:30 at night. So like, what am I going to do with my bags for those 3.5 hours before I leave? But I'll figure it out.
Go to the strip club, Joel.
No, I will probably like try and do one last interview, and then I'll go to the airport because that's just who I am.
Just go to the club.
Yeah, I will. Bottle full of Bob. I'll go see if Gronk is still available. If he's still partying up at the WrestleMania after show or whatever it's called, because that thing's supposed to go until 4 a.m. But they didn't say when 4 a.m. Could have been 4 a.m. the next week. Flo Rida's still singing his hit.
What Flo Rida song do you like the most, Joel?
Yes.
What's your favorite Flo Rida song? Everyone's got one.
I really don't have one because I can't.
Really?
I don't know the difference between Flo Rida and Pitbull at the best of times because of WrestleMania.
Oh, Pitbull is Mr. 305, Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah, and Flo Rida from Florida where the 305 area code is also located, is another Floridian.
Florida, what underrated one? Good Feeling, My House. Okay.
Oh yeah,
I
my
like
house.
In the Air. Oh hot damn, this is my jam. Keep me partying till the AM. Y'all don't understand. Let me throw my hands in the air.
I do remember that one.
Air.
Yeah,
I
I remember
just
that one.
like how they say air.
It's they're Scottish. It's an air. Louis saying buy a shady escort. So there is a Reddit thread up by someone who is nice. There is someone who put a Reddit thread up about like things to do in Vegas. And like as someone who has frequented Vegas, I'm not a Vegas. I don't live there, but
You know where all the shady escorts are.
I know where all the shady escorts are. Most of them come to me. So instead, I would recommend you read that if you're going to Vegas. There are a lot of really good things in there. But I saw one of the things was like, if you see the escorts who will come to your room for like $60, just know that they will come fully clothed and you will have to pay more money for them to remove any of that clothing. If you're into that stuff, that's fine. But just remember, in Las Vegas, prostitution is illegal. And I'm like, wow, you went in depth with that as if you've done this. And I just left it alone after that. Just did not want to get into the conversation. Going to the Sphere is still on my list, but I think the only time I would have is Wednesday morning at this point to go to the Sphere, because everything else I'm trying to fill up with these interviews. So I dropped that video yesterday. Thank you for sharing it. I did a quick little like, hey, wrestlers in Vegas, let's chat. And like I got a bunch of replies from it. Some from people that are involved in Mania Week, are booked on pretty well-known cards, and some that are actually visiting from other countries. So I've set up a few of those conversations, and I'm hoping to keep getting back to people because I still am backlogged on some DMs that are in my my to-do pile, my message request. And some people I'm just like, all right, okay, let's do this. So we'll see. But I'm trying to get as many interviews as I can, baby. Want to talk to everyone.
You're gonna do great. I look forward to all the content that you do and all the work you're gonna create for me like you did last night.
You bet, baby. Hey, you're welcome. Listen, it had to get out though. That Damian Priest Slayer story wasn't going to write itself.
Yeah, I know.
I could have sent it earlier in the day, but I just didn't see it until late. For those who didn't see it, Damian Priest is going to be the host for Slayer's only U.S. appearance on their tour that's upcoming. They're only doing a couple shows because Slayer's basically they're done, but they're doing a couple of one-offs. And Damian Priest is going to be hosting some of those shows. That's pretty cool for the big Slayer fans. You can go watch Damian Priest doing his thing.
It is good on Damian Priest, the fact that he gets to do this. Like, he's obviously a big fan. South of Heaven is a song they do allegedly, and also the name of his finisher. And the guitarist apparently does the theme for the guitarist is part of his WWE theme. It's something like that.
That makes sense. Hold on. Kerry King? No. Gotta be Hanneman. Kerry?
No. Yeah.
I guess I missed that part.
I'll pull up the article because it was part of the article. Yeah, it was the one you sent it to me, so I put it in there.
Yeah, because the article I got was from the Star, and
yeah, Kerry King provided the guitar work for Priest's entrance. So there you go. So I didn't know who the hell Kerry King was until this article.
Oh, if you've never seen Kerry King, then that's wild. Because Jeff Hanneman's dead. What am I saying to myself? Jesus Christ, Hanneman died years ago. Anyway,
any of these people.
Saturday, September 20th, Hershey Park Stadium in Hershey. It's going to be where Damian Priest hosts the Slayer show. That'll be fun. He's going to be out there making himself look real big, and it's a stacked lineup. Okay, so Exodus, Cavalera, Suicidal Tendencies.
Don't know who they are.
So on bass right now is Metallica's bassist son. Rob Trujillo's son is the bassist in Suicidal Tendencies. Knock Loose and Slayer. And shout out Power Trip from Texas, because my buddy DK he works with Power Trip. So there's a chance that he'll be at that show. He might be seeing Damian Priest in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Shout out to my boys. Anyway, it'll be fun. Zeno saying, I've heard many escorts in Vegas are well-known adult performers. They're going to change unshowered wrestling fans triple for their services. Probably. I'm going to shower every day, maybe twice a day, because it's going to be 30 degrees Celsius in that city every day.
You should go out there, Joel, and you should speak with the escorts and you should ask them, wrestling questions. You should do partner promo punch in the face.
Hey, what did you think about Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte? Is Ludwig Kaiser in your DMs too?
So you ask them wrestling questions, and then the last question you ask them is just, "Bitch, you want to make some motherfucking money?"
You know what I am saying?
We're going to be the only channel with escort interviews, Joel.
Oh, God, yeah. Name your favorite wrestler. I'll do it for $1. No, you give me $1. What are we doing here?
Does Paul Heyman owe you a favor?
Paul Heyman, let me tell you a story about Paul Heyman. 5 years ago, he came to this city.
Didn't Heyman's website do? They did some I don't want to say escort. Yeah.
They do that because sex sells. That's just what it is. Yeah. Well, in the Weeds live escort interviews, man, I'm gonna try and get some funny and weird conversations going. I'm telling you, we'll have some fun. Cyclops better than Wolverine saying Joel blaming his mom for running from the grind. Sad. Shout out to my mom. It's good to see her for a weekend.
Cowardly.
Yeah, mostly, but it's okay. Where do we want to go? Do you want, since we started talking about it, should we catch up on a few things, or do you want to just dive into NXT?
I don't know. I've caught up on everything.
I know.
You go ahead.
The Charlotte and Tiffany stuff.
Yeah,
that did rule in a certain way. Went back and rewatched it, and watching the part where Charlotte's face drops when Tiffany starts the 0-3 line is, you can see it. You can see the moment where I was like, oh, now you've crossed the line. Nothing else you said crossed the line, but then he crossed the line. And a lot of people saying it was awkward, and I understand why. For me, I'm sitting there watching, and I'm just like, the worst part is just when Charlotte tries to talk over Tiffany again, and then she does the whole like, what are we trying here for? She's just trying to get up on Tiffany because she flubbed the line. Meanwhile, Charlotte earlier in the promo was having trouble hearing people allegedly. It was bad, but it was so bad it was good. Shout out to Josh Robinson. That's a show we used to do here on Overbooked. So bad it's good. So it certainly got a lot of people talking, and it certainly got a lot of people feeling, and it's certainly. Remember when you and I were talking about who could main event WrestleMania, and we were going through all the matches and saying like this and that, but when we talked about some of these matches, we said some of them are going to have to go somewhere to a point where maybe in the promo or maybe in the story, it's going to be undeniable that they are trying to get the main event slot. There's a part of me that felt like maybe that was while it was off script and it was not planned, maybe this was to them their opportunity to be like, shit, we can make this so personal that we can take a main event slot. This was one of those moments where I was like, oh, maybe they're making a play for it. But overall, man, definitely not planned.
And they already announced the main events. So.
Yeah. But card subject to change, Jeremy Lambert. Card subject to change. Could you imagine CM Punk gets bumped on night one?
Yeah.
Sorry, Punk. These two women want to tear the shit out of each other. We have to give them the main event.
So I know Sean posted a new report yesterday. Yep. So let me kind of go through this a little bit here so we can get factual information out there. So the general consensus backstage was that Charlotte Flair went off script first, calling herself the Nepo Queen, which didn't garner much heat. Okay, that's not much of a off script comment, right? Like Tiffany said the line about Ric Flair and you're never going to live up to your father's legacy. And as Charlotte tried to get out there, but failed because the crowd was booing her, and then she just gave up. She's like, yeah, everybody brings that up. And then she says, Nepo Queen, #1 Nepo baby. Like, if you want to own this title, more power to you. I don't. She was so proud. It popped me of just how proud she was. She'd be like, yes, Nepo Queen. Like, not too much of an offhanded comment. She's burying herself if she's doing anything. It's not like that's a shot at Tiffany. It's a shot at the booking or just herself of like, yeah, all this stuff was handed to me. What are you going to do about it? Not a shot at Tiffany. So fine. And then it says, however, when Charlotte began mocking Tiffany Stratton's voice, a number of people backstage felt like Tiffany needed to fight back, but that going personal to that degree without it being cleared was ill-advised. That's where I was at. Oh, go ahead.
Then what what else was she supposed to do at that point? Because we talked about this, everything that people come after Charlotte for has already been discussed. People have already like, what are you going to say that she's not going to walk all over you for? Without, unfortunately, in this case, like you got to go a little low because she's so reassured in her character that you have to hit her, unfortunately, the one place where you can actually get a word in edgewise.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to advocate for whether it was right or wrong, but it's like, I see the logic. I don't necessarily agree with it, but in like the world of pro wrestling where people sometimes need to make their mark by doing something underhanded, that's it. That was it.
The squeaky voice mocking just made Charlotte look bad is the thing. Like, it didn't do anything to Tiffany. It's just like, oh, that's the best you're doing is like a squeaky voice out there. Okay, sure. But it didn't make Tiffany look bad. Again, it was cringing for Charlotte. I was like, oh man, you're just getting eaten up by this crowd right now. And this is the best you got over here. And then Tiffany went with the divorce lines, and then Charlotte came back with the Kaiser line. As I said leading up to this, I didn't think Tiffany would do this because I didn't think it would get cleared. And, well, it didn't, all things considered. I wasn't necessarily wrong about that. I wasn't sure if Tiffany was going to step up and do it just because I didn't know she had that in her. Clearly she does. More power to her. Cyclops better than Wolverine saying crap on Charlotte, the character, not Charlotte, the person. As I said in the past, there ain't much you can say about Charlotte, the character. They're just... Go ahead.
The two things. So first of all, I hear you, Cyclops, and I agree with you to a point. Once Charlotte brought Ashley into the conversation on a talk show, and the way that they, like you can use that as the reason why, because once it's out there, it's out there. It's not great, but it's common now. It's public knowledge. That's one, and you can rebut in a second. And the other thing being, the only other thing you can say about Charlotte the character that you can really like try for is, man, every time you get into a spat with somebody, your response is to do something childish or unprofessional in the ring, throwing a title on the ground, shoot fighting with them, and before you get back, like that's the worst you can do. And that's not really that strong of an argument against Charlotte because you can say, yeah, but I still won. So it's tough. It's tough with that character. Go ahead with the Ashley stuff.
Oh, I don't really have a rebuttal. I am more in agreement, and I said as much on Monday, is if Charlotte doesn't go on the Sherri Shepherd show and talk about that, does Tiffany bring it up? I don't know. But because Charlotte was on Sherri Shepherd and mentioned the divorce, it became more front and center. And it became something Tiffany could mention because she mentioned it earlier in the promo. She said, like, you want to come out here and you want to be loved and you have all this confidence, then you're on a talk show crying. And, which one is it? So she mentioned that beforehand. I don't know if that line was cleared or not because no one cared about that line once it was all said and done. But it was mentioned by Tiffany. And then that kind of led into her being, I guess, more comfortable saying the divorce line. So yeah, I'm in agreement of if Charlotte wasn't on Sherri Shepherd literally that week saying, literally the day before, she's on the show, the clip came out on Thursday. If she wasn't on the show saying that day, does Tiffany even go there? Like, is it a thought in her mind to even mentioning it? And is it a bigger deal to Charlotte if she mentions that? Because I think Charlotte's justified in her reaction of this should be off limits. We did not clear this. Don't mention these things. If Charlotte doesn't bring it up on a talk show, and basically Tiffany is the one who confirms the divorce on television, I think Charlotte would have been even more justified in what the fallout would be.
I'm curious as to what happens next. I'm sure that there will be a I don't like you, you don't like me, but we're going to get through this. And then it'll probably be one's going to show up on Raw the next night and be like, I am on Raw now. And the other one's on SmackDown. I'm curious.
I mean, Ludwig's on Raw, so it would make sense to put Tiffany over there.
You could do it. Yeah, of course. Andrade's going to show up too, but that's just completely unrelated. I'm curious about the match. I'm sure it's going to be fine. They are professionals, allegedly, so they're going to do the thing. Allegedly. So again, like, you can't help but look at what Charlotte has done in the ring over the last few years and be like, man, you keep getting into this shit.
Yeah, rules.
He does. And like, you keep asserting yourself, and like, in the big bad world of pro wrestling where everyone wants to be this alpha, you know what, she continues to do that in one way or another, and then it's deemed unprofessional. And you know what, it's awkward. I wouldn't call it necessarily, I think unprofessional is a word you can use, but it's not like she's doing it and then storming out and never coming back. She's not doing anything that takes her off of the show. She's just kind of showing her emotion. She's wearing her emotion on her sleeve while she's in the ring. And she happened to go up against someone this time that was willing to do the same. And yes, may have mentioned something that was considered off limits, but as we mentioned, that off limits kind of went back on the air when it was mentioned on the air with the Sherry Shepherd show.
There is a difference though between, let's mention this on a Sherry Shepherd show where the reach is what it is, and let's bring it up to a WWE audience, which has one has different audiences. Two, it has nothing to do with Charlotte the character. And I think this is a point a lot of people are making, is she attacked Ashley. You know, she attacked the person Ashley Flair and not Charlotte Flair, because we didn't know Charlotte and Andrade were married and divorced on television. Like, Andrade worked for a different company when all of this happened. He came back and then she was hurt. Their relationship was never acknowledged on TV. And certainly their divorce was never acknowledged on TV. Her past divorces were never acknowledged on television. There is an extent of personal shots in wrestling that people take and use for promo fodder. A lot of times, not all the time, a lot of times there is some acknowledgement on TV of who these people are. We can look at Punk and Seth as an example. When Punk takes a shot at Seth and uses Becky, we know Seth and Becky are married on WWE television. They teamed after they got together. It's acknowledged on television. We know Punk and AJ are married on WWE television. Punk acknowledges it. He gives a shout out and everything. So those shots, at least there's been some acknowledgement on WWE television of who those people are. Punk walking out on the company, all that stuff, it's acknowledged on the WWE TV. The Charlotte stuff with Andrade has never been acknowledged. And in Lab Glass saying if she allowed the dead brother line, but not the 0-3 line, would be baffling. The point of this is it wasn't asked if she allowed it or not. Maybe if Tiffany had gone to her and said, hey, what do you think about this? Like, can I say this? And Charlotte may have okayed it. She may have been like, you know what? This will get some good heat. Like, yeah, that's fine. Go for it. The point is, she didn't mention it. John Cena has famously talked about this with The Rock and the writing your promos on your hand. And The Rock's issue with that, and John Cena's admittance of where he screwed up with that, is he didn't ask The Rock about it. He just went out there off the cuff and decided to say these things. Maybe The Rock would have been okay with it. Like, yeah, you know what? I got that one coming. You should, yeah, that's all good with me. But Cena didn't ask. And so The Rock was a little caught off guard. And The Rock was upset with it. Cena has admitted that's my fault. I should have cleared that with him. I should have talked with him about that. I was just trying to get under his skin. I saw an opportunity. I took it. It happened. That's the point of all of this. When Punk and Drew working together, stuff is said, stuff happens. You also got to feel they've cleared a lot of that stuff of what was said in those promos. And they have the professional respect to talk to each other and be like, can I say this? Can we do this? Can we go on? I think the only time it may have been a little off was the Punk who gave you that nickname on the Chosen One, because Drew has said, like, I had a response for that, but I didn't want to quite go there. Maybe Punk cleared the line with Drew. Maybe he didn't. Drew clearly what he wanted to say, he didn't clear it with Punk, so he decided to bite his tongue on it instead of maybe going too far with things and veering off when they had an outline to follow.
Drew got his lick back anyway, because then he posted the photo with Jack Perry, which he took down. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, these two are still going to have their match at WrestleMania, Charlotte and Tiffany. I'm curious about what SmackDown will look like, what the next two SmackDowns will look like, and how those two will bring it back home. This was a great exercise in getting your match talked about more than it already has been and changing the narrative a little bit. The reinvestment is there, probably for wrong reasons. Now they have to refocus what that's going to be in the story moving forward. Because now they got to bring it back to why one of them wants the title they think they deserve and why the other one deserves to keep the title that they won. That's going to be the challenge of the story. And Ludwig Kaiser, leaning into it on Monday and having fun with it, I thought that was cute. He did it on the Netflix, the commercials. So they did it well. But we'll see what they do with those two. That was just fun stuff on SmackDown, though. For us, it was hilarious. I've always wondered, by the way, because you mentioned, with Andrade coming back and Charlotte getting hurt, and then Charlotte had re-signed her deal recently, and it included a bus. That was a big deal. And then I was kind of like, you think Andrade gets the bus while she's hurt? never got. I think I got an answer about that, but I always wondered about that. Well, it doesn't matter anymore. Yeah, so that was just something from SmackDown that I wanted to bring up because I know everyone else was talking about it. I'm wondering if we should talk Dynasty or if we should do the NXT stuff, because that was more relevant. Let's do the NXT stuff, because we'll do Dynasty and then eventually we'll get to tonight's AEW Dynamite, because they do have some stuff announced and coming out of a pay-per-view. They don't always have much, but enough that we can ask questions. So yeah, the NXT Stand and Deliver Overbooked edition. They are paying homage to us here on our channel. They're doing they did the thing I told you they do, by the way, which was exactly like Julia comes back, gets herself involved in all of this women's championship stuff, and then effectively just kind of shrugs and says, I'm going to beat them. And then Becker is going to take on all four. I thought it was just going to be Julia. And then Stephanie wants to be fighting stupid champ. And she's like, give me all of them. Last night's show was, Ryan Lambert saying, was a struggle to watch. And it was. There were a lot of things about that show that I did not like. And they just made Stand and Deliver an overbooked mess. And I don't know if it's because they're just like, man, it's going to be at 9:30 in the morning. So let's make sure that all these bodies don't go car crash crazy. Put as many of them in the ring and see what happens. It's just, there's a lot going on. Main event, or the women's main event, I should say. It's now 4-way. Stephanie gonna come out on top, or is she losing that thing?
Feel like she's gonna win it. It doesn't make a ton of sense to just drop the title, the North American title, and then lose the women's championship a couple weeks later as well. Like, she was a double champion. Have a little bit of respect for doing a double champion, you know? Like, don't immediately or almost immediately take both titles off of her. I would prefer a one-on-one match. I think it just would have been better if Stephanie and Julia would have been better, but I think it honestly would have been a little bit better as just Stephanie and Jordan, and then Julia returns to Stand and Deliver, and that's how Julia gets worked back into things. She's back here. It's an odd choice because, like, if Julia was gonna work Stand and Deliver in the first place, maybe they didn't know how banged up she was. But it felt like you didn't really need to do that double title match at Roadblock because Julia's not missing the event. So why did we do the double title match and then we're just going to do a 4-way match at Stand and Deliver, and then Stephanie had to vacate the North American Championship?
I'm wondering if this, I'm in the same boat as you. Was Julia planned to be out longer and then they realized she's okay? She worked the live events this past weekend, right?
Yeah.
And that was kind of the number one hint that was, well, what are we doing with Julia? If she's wrestling now and she's appearing in wrestling, that means she's going to be on the Stand and Deliver card, right? And then she comes out, she gets involved in the Jordan Grace, Jada Parker, Stephanie Vaquer melee at the end of the match. And it was just like, well, what was this in service of since Roadblock? Like you said, they just kind of retconned everything that happened since the beginning of March. The last 6 weeks were for naught. There's a world where they could really trick everyone and have Jada Parker win the title, like they did it with Indy last year at Stand and Deliver. Remember, Indy Hartwell won the ladder match, and that had people very confused. She's very popular. So is Jada, at least in Florida. I can't tell you what happens when you leave the room because that's always, a bit of a mixed bag. But I don't know. There's part of me that thinks because the other three women are ready or have already been featured in some sort of way on main roster. Stephanie's first match, of course, was a house show match main roster, and she's been in the crowd. Julia been in the crowd, not prominently featured compared to the others, but Jordan Grace, she's been in the Royal Rumble. Like, she's been on TV. She's been shown. I'm wondering if maybe, they're like, Jada is the person.
But not all of them are getting moved up, though.
Not necessarily.
I'd be shocked if even 2 of them got moved up. You would think Roxanne is getting moved up, but I don't know what they're doing with Roxanne at this point. But you would think she's getting moved up. And then there's still so many women that they got to feature on these shows, like calling up Julia Vaquer or Jordan right now. And there's a risk they just get lost because we got to assume Becky's going to return soon. So that's another spot that's going to be filled. So where do you place some of these women? Where do you go with them? I think there's some opportunity on SmackDown to have them feature, but SmackDown's got Jade and Naomi. Chelsea's doing well with the women's championship, at least as far as character. She's defended it against one person the entire reign, but the character work she does is fantastic. And you have Tiffany and Charlotte. And then Raw, you've got Bianca, Rhea, Io, Lyra, Bailey, Becky's coming back at some point, Liv. Like, they got a lot of women that they're currently featuring or could be featured, to where I don't fully know where the 3 certainly of Vaquer, Julia, and Jordan fit in. Like, if you want to call up one, fine, you can find a spot for the one, but you ain't finding a spot for all 3.
Yeah, and other people have mentioned Roxanne in the chat. That's been a weird one because there's a possibility that she ends up winning the North American Women's Championship. She's not officially in the match, but to me, you can do one of 2 things. One, she enters the match, she wins the match. I think that they could do that so she could say, I won all the titles. The other thing being, if she's not, then how do you tell that story? You're you're the prodigy who fell. You're the prodigy who didn't even get booked WrestleMania weekend. You sat to the sides, so you got to find your way back. Does that make her a babyface eventually? Again, it could. I think the role that she's been playing as a heel has been quite effective. It took some time, but she figured out what that's supposed to look like. And being called a prodigy is a cocky role that you can take on. So I don't know what happened. I'm sure we're going to find out where the changes came from and what the decision was to keep her away from WrestleMania and possibly put her on Stand and Deliver. She's just not part of it. But as you mentioned, the other women that we've been talking about, they're I don't think they're there yet. Is another thing. I think Jordan is, just by virtue of having had those opportunities and having worked with some of the members of the main roster. I think with Julia and Stephanie, they're more of a long-term game, not in a they need a lot of development, but in a tentpole NXT kind of way, where people are going to continue to come and see them because they like them as much as they like a Jada Parker or a Ren Sinclair or Thea Hale. They want to put the emphasis on those two and their rivalry, so that when they do come up, you almost bring them up together in their own way, so that they can have their big moments amplified to the WWE main roster audience. Because again, not everyone's watching NXT. But yeah, that's why part of me is like, you can have Jada win, and it would be a shock. And if she's as popular as people say she is, then there might be a groundswell of support for that. And then what happens with the other three? Well, Jordan's not hurting any of this because Jordan hasn't been. She's the newest. She's already strong. She's already like in it. But with Stephanie and Julia, well, you put the titles on both of those women respectively, and then you you took the titles off of them within a month. So that doesn't make them look very good either. So who knows? And for Zeno saying, I saw no reports about Roxanne versus Bayley happening at Mania. It had been kind of discussed. Roxanne versus Bayley. It had been discussed on and off. And I think the belief was that those two would have a Mania match of some sorts. But here we are.
Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like there was a plan with them. I don't know if it was supposed to be a Mania weekend thing, but
they just didn't do anything with it. That's also something to keep in mind.
We never got a singles match
exactly
out of them. Like they kind of wasted the Hugger Bayley moment. First, the camera shot sucked, but second, like they didn't even go there with a singles match with them. That should have been such a bigger moment. Like someone's finally mocking Hugger Bayley after all this time, and it's Roxanne, who makes a lot of sense to do it. And then you do no singles match out of that. It's a waste.
Maybe she just didn't have her passport ready. She wasn't in Europe, right? She didn't do any of the Euro tour. Not that I knew of, at least.
That should have been a Stand and Deliver match. Honestly, it should have been a Stand and Deliver match. Yeah.
I think that could have moved more tickets. I don't know what the tickets are like right now. I haven't checked WrestleTix for Stand and Deliver, but yeah, it's. I mean, I know that I plan on being there. I'm curious about how many people will actually make it to the arena after they go to Wally Mania the night before. So, oh no, it's Saturday, so that's Thursday. After they go to SmackDown in the Hall of Fame the night before. Huh? Anyway, we're gonna go 4 a.m. WrestleMania after dark, and we're gonna go right to the arena for Stand and Deliver. Right? That's what we're doing. It's still an overbooked card of Stand and Deliver.
Is Ricky going to get a singles match, or is that 4-way going to end in some like double pinfall? And so,
did they announce that they're doing a thing next week?
Yeah,
they did. They're doing a number one contendership.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I thought I'd heard it. I wasn't totally sure. I think it'll end with Ethan Page getting the title shot.
They're gonna do some double pinfall.
I think they're gonna. I think they've seen the pushback from this. I think they're gonna from the 4-way. I think they're gonna. No, I think for this one they'll do a Starks 1-on-1. They sorry, a Saints 1-on-1. They should just have Ricky in a 1-on-1 match. Don't do another triple. Like this is. It's not stand and deliver a triple threat match at every turn. It's just do the show.
You're gonna see Ethan Page pin Lexus King and Wesley pin Eddie Thorpe, and then we're gonna get Ethan Page and Wesley against
No,
Ricky Saints.
it's gonna be Ricky Saints versus
Now,
Lexus
just
King
wait.
versus Ethan Page, and then Sean Spears is gonna be like, I want my title rematch. And the Culling's like, I thought you did this in service of us. Like, yeah, well, sometimes your service involves getting me my title back. And those four men are gonna have of four-way, and they're gonna call it the Elite Four-Way for the NXT North American Championship. That's what they're gonna do. Poor Eddie Thorpe. He should be in this match, though.
I mean, he might pin
Good
someone.
shot.
They're gonna do some screwy finish to make this a multi-person match. I
Okay.
got no faith that they're actually gonna do a one-on-one match.
I think they'll do it with Ethan Page, and then they'll tease that Ethan's going to win the TNA title at the pay-per-view the next week.
All right,
That's kind of where I'm at. But I also don't like the idea of giving them Ethan Page and then Ethan Page losing that title match and then going in and getting a world title shot for the TNA title, which, like, for people like me, yeah, exactly. For people like me, I'm just like, this is stupid. But for people who like don't watch NXT and TNA together or just don't pay attention, they won't care. And I get it. So you can kind of just let it go. That's just kind of my headcanon is like, why would you give one and then the other? It's very strange. Lexus King should win. He should win all the titles. Come out with it. Remember the Heritage Cup, Jeremy?
Yeah, he had that last night.
Yeah, he didn't bring it to the ring. He just left it on the chair.
Oh,
on the recliner.
Well, you know, it happens.
Yeah, he's gonna win the North American title called the NA title and saying, I'm gonna win the TNA world title and I will be your NA TNA world champion. And he's gonna throw it in the trash. The Izzy Dame Ren Sinclair spot everyone's talking about. Izzy Dame
felt bad for them.
Did not stay down for the 3 that she was pinning Ren Sinclair out of.
I mean, it's on. Go ahead.
No, it's on Izzy. It's on Izzy because the referee slid into position, did not fall into position. Like everyone, I think, was in their spot. I rewatched it this morning.
It's on
Izzy.
It's on Izzy to an extent. It's on whoever the hell was on the outside slapping the mat when the pinfall happened, because that's what screwed her up. If you go back and rewatch it, everybody, she hits the move, and then someone from No Quarter Catch Crew hits the mat as the referee's kind of coming down, and Izzy thinks that's the 1 count. And then the referee goes 1, but she thinks it's 2. Referee goes 2. She thinks that's 3. And that's why she moves out of the way. Listen for the mat slap from somebody on the outside, because that's what throws Izzy off on that pinfall.
It's Dempsey, and he's not doing it on purpose.
Wasn't doing it on purpose. No, but he does hit the mat. Like, he hits it as she starts her pinfall.
I'm looking at it now. I just got anyway.
You got to listen to it.
Yeah.
Because you can't just watch it. Like, you got to hear somebody slapping the mat on there. But that throws her off. Like, she should be paying more attention to the referee. She should look at the referee and seeing it on there. But she's also going by what she hears. And she hears that initial mat slap and thinks that is 1. And then the ref starts the count.
Should have done the kick out. Should have tried it again. It's NXT. It's where they learn, but it was definitely not a great look for anybody. But in the words of Izzy Dame, it is what it is. That's still her slogan, right? She hasn't changed it, and I haven't heard her say otherwise. I'll never forget that stupid cage match. It is what it is. Like, yeah, and it ain't great. Dark State does not have a leader. The leader is the guy who was in the match. Once again, I remind everyone, Dark State is just those 4 dudes. And they had a good match against the main event at Stand and Deliver. Don't love Javon Evans eating another pin, but I also can't tell you I'm surprised that it's Javon Evans who had to eat the pin in this match. Trick and Oba fighting off while Javon gets basically quadruple teamed or triple teamed by the rest of that Dark State. It's good. It was a good match. Those guys looked very solid, and it's a way to start them off hot in ring. Now they have to do this parking lot brawl next week against the family. And to me, there's a possibility that because it was Stacks who issued the challenge, the rest of the family just kind of either they don't show up or they show up late and they're like, oh, I didn't want you to do this. And that starts the re-rift within the D'Angelo family.
Okay.
I could see it like that. But then again, what does Dark State do at Stand and Deliver? Multi-man madness.
Attack whoever wins the main event, I assume.
I'm telling you, it would have been better if Dion Lennox got the pin on Obafemi last night and then got himself into and made it a 4-way.
Man, they didn't want to pin Oba. I don't blame them.
Since we're overdoing everything, let's just have that happen.
They didn't want to pin Oba. Then again, I don't blame them for that.
Pin Trick and just be like, I pinned a 2-time world champion. Do a War Games match. Add an extra. Yeah, Ryan's got it. Do War Games in NXT at Stand and Deliver. I like the idea of Vic Josephine, the leader of Dark State, though.
It's going to be Booker T. Like, see, I care about the young talent.
I'm going to make them better than I ever was. Someone's saying Joel's lost his mind. Yeah, I did a long time ago, but NXT lost their mind by booking literally the entire roster on their Stand and Deliver show.
Yeah, that Pen and Oba is not the move.
Tyson and Tyreek going to win that tag team battle royal next week or whatever it's called. Is it a battle royal or is it a gauntlet? I have no idea.
It's a gauntlet. The tag team match, it's a gauntlet.
Well, Tyson and Tyreek are going to win.
They're setting up for Hank and Tank, right?
Like what? Big giant losers. That's right. Kind of hope they keep making them losers.
Nah, like they're setting them up to get this victory. Why do you keep having tag teams from the main roster come down if like your end goal is not, and giving them advice and talking to them if your end goal is not to like set them up for at least the gauntlet match win? I don't know if they're going to beat Fraxium, but at least the gauntlet match win.
If Hank and Tank, who by the way are giant losers to begin with, that's what annoys me more than anything, is that they have the possibility of running a gauntlet to get a tag title shot when they've lost every other match they've been in lately. They shouldn't even be in this gauntlet match. They shouldn't, but here we are.
Well, everybody's in this gauntlet match.
Well, hypothetically, but not really. Public Machinery, because they remind me of Public Enemy in Heavy Machinery.
That's good, actually.
It's very true. They with a little bit of high voltage mixed in because of the lettering on their logo. Oh God, it's just, if they win, I will be annoyed, but I also understand that they have been building them. But I still think Tyson and Tyreek should win.
They're gonna win. Like,
I think they should just completely go. You know what? With all the people in these matches, I think Sean's just lost his mind, and this is the next thing he's gonna do.
Shawn Spears?
No, it's Shawn Michaels. Oh, HBK.
Okay. I was like, what Shawn are we talking about here?
The one that hasn't blocked me.
Oh, okay. Shawn Spears blocked you?
No.
Oh, okay.
His school has.
Oh, really?
I don't know why, and I've
what'd you do to flatbacks?
That's the thing. I didn't. Like, I haven't spoken ill about either owner, and I don't know where it came from, but I got blocked by flatbacks. I've never tagged them. It is very strange.
Seems like you did something to them.
Allegedly. I mean, they seem to think I did.
Yeah, clearly you did. Did you take a shot at like Tyler Breeze or something?
Why would I? I like Tyler.
I don't know.
That's the thing.
I don't know, Joel. You got blocked by them for some reason.
And I'm pretty sure Breeze is running the socials. I don't know, man. I just leave it alone. It's either Breeze or one of his dogs. I don't know who's running it. And I don't mean one of his dogs. I mean like one of his pups. But that's fine. Ryan's wondering why Wade Barrett blocked him, so I get it. Some weird things.
He had some bad news for you.
That's true. Talk to my pal JBL. He said, run a mega blocker. Ryan Adams saying, Joel just saying yeet after every questioning. like he's my hometown crowd did to Jay until he realized it was a serious promo. Like Jay and Gunter promo from Raw. Oh, that was good stuff, by the way.
Yeah, that rolled, especially the crowd yeeting the death of Jimmy Uso.
Said Joshua, yeet. No, not now. Right down. You're ruining the mood.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
That was a great promo, though. I mean, they really did have a strong showing. Gunter showing up and looking all casual and doing his red tie. I love how he's like, look at me, I'm wearing a red tie, just flashing in your face for the camera. Like, you know what the red means. And then Michael Cole's like, I think the red means because he made his brother bleed. Thank you, Michael Cole. Really appreciate the exposition here. But in Gunther just being casual, Gunther ruled. And Jay coming out all black. But you gotta have the Yeet shades. You gotta have the Yeet shades.
Yeah, he's still, he's still gotta let the people know. Is he supposed to just wear regular shades? No.
Yes, he should be wearing like the Taz Arnett swinger shades. That's they're called Arnett's, and swinger is the model name. Anyway.
Okay. No, you gotta wear the Yeet shades. Keep up appearances there.
You'd think so, but either way, he came out, did that promo, very, very serious. Gunther, do you have a mother? You see, in another world, if this were a mid-card, it would have ended with him saying, I had sex with your mother. And then he would have left the ring.
What?
What I thought he was going for. I thought it was a very TNA pilled type of promo. That's all.
Why would he say that?
I don't know. Ace Austin and Trey Miguel once had a whole thing about who slept with whose mother. What? You never had an argument and then ended with, yeah, well, I slept with your wife or your mother?
No.
Oh, well, clearly you're having the wrong arguments. But instead, Jay was serious. So I guess we had to give credence to his seriousness. Yay! The man knew what he wanted. Listen, this is the guy who comes out week after week, and you've got Pat McAfee being like, I ate it all over my shorts. Like, come on, we know what you're trying to say. We know what you're trying to say. Volop saying vanilla fumble is what we call it when Jay gets the yeet shakes. Oh my goodness. See? I'm not wrong. Chat gets me. Chat understands me.
You guys gotta stop with the Mother Oos.
You're the ones talking about beating off 5 other guys.
That's how they're booking down in NXT.
What, beating off
man? Yeah, not That's booking true. A man to say he had sex with your mother.
Well, maybe he did. I don't know. What do you think, SB3? Who's having sex with whose mother?
I don't. I just walked into just the last line. I don't know what the context.
Don't worry, it's cool. You just be here, buddy. You just be here.
How you doing, SB3?
Is it Thursday already?
I came to talk about the real news about Michael Malone being fired by the Denver Nuggets.
That's a choice.
And Calvin Booth being fired by the Denver Nuggets with 4 games left in the regular season because the Denver Nuggets knew they didn't want the smoke with Jeremy's team, the Oklahoma City Thunder, or my team, the Los Angeles Lakers. Despite them being dominant over us for the past 4 seasons, they didn't want any of that smoke after seeing us with Luka Doncic. So they fired Michael Malone, especially after his post game where he said that all the players are full of shit.
Yeah, that was insane timing for firing a guy who won a championship less than 2 years ago. Insane timing. But I don't know what the Nuggets are still going to make the playoffs. I'm still going to have Jokic. They're still going to have Westbrook. Oh, make of that with what you will with their playoff chances.
They kept 2 things consistent where Russell Westbrook goes, that's where coaches die. And two, if you win an NBA championship, you have 2 years to win another one or you're fired. That's what's been the theme since like 2020.
It's very lame how Russ gets scapegoat in these situations, not Jack Perry. Because
scapegoat Russell Westbrook.
Who brought him in to the Lakers? Who wanted to make that deal for the Lakers? And who brought him to the Nuggets? Who wanted him to be signed by the Nuggets? The genius superstar players who wanted to play with Westbrook. LeBron wanted to do the deal and wanted to trade for Westbrook because they had a different deal on the table that they didn't do because they did the Westbrook deal instead. I forgot what the deal was at the time, but maybe SP3 remembers. And then Jokic advocated for Westbrook to come in. Your superstar players wanted him there. I didn't think, you kind of put your coach in a bad position with everything.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to blame Russell Westbrook exactly.
No, I know, but a lot of people are.
It is a funny coincidence that wherever he goes, the coaches tend to die off. But I think we were gonna go for a deal for Buddy Hield.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was the Buddy Hield deal. Yeah.
Yeah, and LeBron pushed to get Russell Westbrook, and it led to Frank Vogel being fired, being let go from the Lakers, and then eventually also led to Darvin Ham being let go by the Lakers because he was an awful coach. We have a better coach now. The Denver Nuggets, it was just weird because they've lost 7 of the last 10, and they've lost 4 straight. But to fire your coach with 4 games left, no one is surprised that Michael Malone is not the coach of the Denver Nuggets. Everyone is surprised because he's not the coach of the Denver Nuggets today. It's the timing of it all that makes this one of the most shocking moves. And it's like you literally just saw the Memphis Grizzlies let go of Taylor Jenkins and then plummet from like a 3 seed to an 8 seed, and now they're going to probably be in the play-in, and you decided, you know what? I see that move. That's a good move right there. I'm going to do the same thing. And our team is going to probably plummet to a play-in position because right now they're tied with the Warriors for the 4th seed, and they're tied. The Warriors and the Clippers are tied for the 5th seed. And they're like a half a game above those 2 teams. They're probably, if they lose out, they're probably going to plummet to a play-in position at this point.
Yeah, they got Sacramento, Memphis, and Houston, all playoff play-in teams. But who knows? Houston might rest guys. It's the last game of the season for Houston. Sacramento and Memphis got something to play for, so they won't rest anybody. But although Sacramento doesn't have anything to play for, they're the 9-10 seed. Regardless, they can't jump up to 7 or 8. Yeah. So I don't think they're going to rest guys, but just mentally, I don't know if they're going to be fully there. And it was baffling yesterday. I was very stunned that it happened, but whatever, not my team.
No coaches are safe though. That's all that says. No coaches are safe. It's crazy out here. This guy won a championship 2 years ago. 2 years ago. But all I can really say is you shouldn't have been talking shit about the Lakers at your championship parade. You should have just forgot. You beat us. You swept us. You should have been happy that you were a champion. But you had to mention the Lakers. And you see what happens? I get the last laugh. I was on this channel and I told Jeremy on FMC back in 2023. I was like, oh, he talking all that shit now. We'll get the last laugh. And I did yesterday. Thank you, Denver.
Glad you got the last laugh on Michael Malone.
My war with Michael Malone is over. He's gone. He's unemployed. And I'm here on YouTube laughing about it.
I mean, I think he still has like more money and everything. So we should all be so lucky to get that Michael Malone money.
This is true. He's had 10 years worth of money, but it's crazy. Why would you fire a coach when Jokic is having one of the greatest seasons of all time?
Well, he can't win the MVP now.
No, he's not.
The MVP gets a coach fired. How's that possible? Can't happen.
Love to see it. You love to see it. I'm happy. But I can talk about some NXT. I'm Swipe Right enthusiast. Did y'all talk about Swipe Right in their very successful debut on the show? They should have won. They got cheated. There was a lot of double team moves by Fraxium, and the referee wasn't even counting to 5. I don't like it. I think Swipe Right should have won by disqualification.
Rules don't matter in NXT. We've learned this.
Rules don't matter in wrestling. We've already established this.
Yeah.
All you need to do is bring your mother ringside,
Oh
and
my
she
gosh.
can point out that you should change it. So this is why I hope
And then Gunther wants to fuck her. Is that what happens here?
Yes, that's why Jey Uso's mother needs to be ringside at WrestleMania, so that when Gunther tries to illegally win the match, Jey Uso's mother can get the referee and say, hey, I'm his mother. Look over there. This is what he did. And then they're going to restart the match, and that's how Jay's going to win the world title.
Or you have a winner takes all matchup because you think your champion is injured, and 2 weeks later you relinquish one of the titles that they won the winner takes all matchup for, and then a week after that the champion is back and going to be in a 4-way at the bigger show, just because you had to blow your load in New York City.
That was the best part.
That was so stupid. I was like, who's booking this? Who's booking this?
Let him cook.
You would think that the guy that's booking this used to be on drugs. Oh, wait.
Oh, wait a minute.
Hold on.
Wait a minute.
Oh, my bad. Too soon? It's been 30 years, guys. Come on.
Yeah, that's
come on. It's not too soon. It's not too soon. He used to be on drugs.
Did you watch the WrestleMania 2000, the behind the scenes stuff that the Vault released?
Oh, I saw that when it first came out, because there was a book they put out shortly after WrestleMania 2000.
I know this book. Yes.
Yeah, and it came with a DVD that had like the behind the scenes and everything. So I watched it way back then.
Shawn Michaels there with his kid, and the kid's just like staring at the camera like, why are we here? What is this all about?
The WrestleMania 9 documentary comes out on Friday.
Oh,
so excited. I rewatched that event the other night. just to pop myself.
Just preparing
two of the worst matches of all time on that one single show. Two of the worst matches ever. I'm gonna go out my way to watch that WrestleMania 2000 Vault footage, because I'm sure Shawn Michaels and Triple H have been watching that as well, because half of the card for Stand and Deliver in WrestleMania are multi-man matches, just like that card. Well, where it was like 90%, 99% is multi-person matches.
They got to bolster the numbers for Stand and Deliver. They got to get more tickets out. So they figure if they put more wrestlers in the room, that counts as a ticket sale. So it's okay. It's okay.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, you count it like that.
That is how it's counted.
Why is this women's match a 4-way? It would have been very simple to just do Jordynne Grace versus Stephanie McCare. But oh wait, Julia's not injured, so you got to throw in her. Jada Parker's been involved in this storyline, even though she lost the title match. So I don't know how she's back in a title match where she hasn't won a match since she lost that title match, but she's still in this matchup as well.
Well, like when they started the show with Stephanie being like, I'm gonna give you my opponent after this match. She goes and sits ringside, and like something's gonna happen, and then you think, oh, it's gonna be a triple threat. Then they make it into the 4-way because you have Julia get involved. I was always saying since the beginning that like they should have had Jordynne Grace and Jada Parker beat the absolute dog shit out of each other, looking great, and then the winner be like, all right, Stephanie, give me my title shot. And Stephanie's like, actually, it wasn't you that I was thinking of. It was actually it was Julia. She's okay. And then Julia comes out. She just shrugs her shoulders and says, "See you in Vegas." And then that's how they should have done the match. But instead, we got to do this multi-woman match because why not?
I always thought that it was going to be a triple threat, and they were like I said, Shawn Michaels has been watching WrestleMania 2000 too many times, and they were going to do a triple threat matchup of Julia, Stephanie McCare, and Jordynne Grace, where it's two falls. One fall is for the North American title, and the second fall is for the NXT Women's Championship. And that's the way you separate the two titles, instead of crowning one person a double champion and then having them relinquish it 2 weeks later. All the booking has just been, and the card is not even announced. There's only 3 matches announced. They're doing number 1 contender matches on the go home show. This is the most haphazardly put together WWE card in quite some time.
Listen, I'm getting messages from people and being like, "What's the TNA Unbreakable card?" And I'm like, "You want to know what it is? It's the International Championship match and like Ali in a 6-man. Like Ali's gonna have the Great Hands versus Macklin and the Rascals or some shit." Like they don't. they don't know.
To be fair to TNA, they are known for their specials where they just put together matches and announce half the card on the go home show. And they're not billing TNA Unbreakable as the biggest show of the year. I've heard that multiple times on NXT, but you would not know it by how this card is booked. That is the biggest show of the year.
And again, with TNA, it's like they have a pay-per-view the next week, which is why this Unbreakable show is so ill-advised. Like, I don't know who made the phone call, like, from WWE, just being like, yeah, come. We'll do something for Mania week, and you'll be fine. We'll have a lot of people there. I don't know how many tickets they've moved to Cox, but I'm not going. So, Cox Pavilion, Jeremy, is where they're going.
Oh,
that's the name of the venue where they're running.
Cox.
okay.
Cox Coliseum.
Okay. Coliseum.
The Cops Coliseum is a venue in Hamilton that exists. I spit on Hamilton because Hamilton's awful. Anyway, the NXT show is going to be hilarious. I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be laughing in the best possible way. Going to be tired and watching it. It's going to be fun. Tyson and Tyreek are going to win those NXT tag titles. I'm telling you.
No, it's going to be Hank and Tank, sir.
Stop
we
it.
all know it's going to be Hank and Tank. Who's been getting all the camera time? Who's been the team that they've been doing multiple segments with? They were on 3 different segments last night.
No one needs old Seth Rogen lookalike, Mr. Former janitor, getting a tag title shot. What is this American Dream bullshit?
Sir.
Whatever.
They were security guard, sir.
Fine, whatever.
They're endearing. It's Hank and Tank, baby. They're getting all the pep talks. Motor City Machine Guns, Pretty Deadly, Street Profits, all the SmackDown Tag Team division is rooting for Hank and Tank. Hank and Tank for the win.
Gonna win those tag titles and be like, and then they're gonna go to TNA and lose the titles.
Honk.
This is actually really good. Joel's gonna pull a Rollins and take over San Antonio, cut a promo on McGregor. If they are announced as the hosts of this event, the pre-show, I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna pull up, and they very well might, because Bully and NXT have a thing, and LFG could happen.
Should have had Swipe Right win last night to set up Swipe Right versus Fraxine. That's what I'm saying. That was a cooker. That was a 5-minute slapper. One of the best 5-minute matches I've ever witnessed on WWE television.
So once again, 2 qualifying triple threat matches plus the triple threat championship match. So basically, they've got 3 matches that are all in service of the same thing to get to AJ versus EY versus Macklin for the triple threat title. And the closest selling out 2,500 seats. Believe it when I see it.
They have the same amount of matches announced for TNA Unbreakable that they do for NXT Stand and Deliver.
And I will still be at Bloodsport that night. Joel and Booker T. Never.
Should go to Effie's Big Gay Grunch instead of NXT to Stand and Deliver.
Is that Saturday morning?
Same time.
Oh, it is the same time. I'm interviewing someone who's doing Big Gay Brunch. Not that day, earlier in the week. But anyway, point is, I don't know. I do want to go to Big Gay Brunch. Our pal Val's going to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also need to go to Stand and Deliver because I need to laugh.
You should make them pay the price for this haphazardly put together card, and no one should show up. They should just be doing an empty. They should feel like it's WrestleMania 36, empty arena show.
Big fan over the top of the ring. It's a big piece. All you hear is this vroom, 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 vroom.
like Vic and Booker is like, don't worry guys, is there people gonna show up too? It's an early show. They'll be here for the main event.
They've been partying all night, Vic. Vic's like, I've been asleep since 9 p.m. I was told to get my rest, so I did that. I powered down promptly at 9:30.
Chucky duck quack quack moment of the night.
Kill me. I'm gonna go to that show for
all the comments. Joe's gonna be the only one there. He's gonna hear everything that Booker says because it's gonna be an empty arena.
They're gonna tell me like mimosas free for the press. So why don't you come to the show? Be like, all right, I'm going. You can buy me for food. That's fine. That's why I'm going. It's the food. The wrestling, no, I have my computer. It's okay. I can do whatever I need to do. We need Cam to counter SP3 and Joel's anti-NXT propaganda. Problem is, NXT's not bad. It's just the build for this show has kind of fallen off a cliff in 2 weeks. It's pretty amazing. They realized how much time they had. At one point, Jeremy and I were like, this is how they're going to book Trick versus Oba. And we had it all laid out. It was pretty standard fare. It was like 1 week they call out one, and then they're going to do a contract signing, and then they're going to do the tag match where they have to coexist, and then they're going to have the match, or they'll do a week where they do like a brawl part. It was easy. We had it. It was there. And then all of a sudden it was like, we're going to do everything but those things. All right, sure, whatever. Let's just go home then. Gotta get swipe right on the show. I like swipe right. Who am I kidding?
Swipe right. Let's go. Swipe right. Let's go.
Sam Cam gets it. Too many folks on the card, man. It's just an overbooked nightmare. And that's why I'm going. It's because I have to go. They're paying homage to our damn channel. It's literally a show booked for us, just not by us.
Wrestling would be so much better if it just didn't exist.
Sure wouldn't be going to Vegas.
Or they need to ask Jeremy for ideas. Even if they're not good ideas, they need to ask Jeremy for ideas. My idea for the North American Championship matchup is call it the Forbidden Door match. Or what did Jordan Grace call it? The portal? The Forbidden Portal or something like that? Because you got the prohibited portal, because you got Ricky, who just came over from AEW. You got Alexis King, who was Brian Pillman Jr. in AEW. You got Wesley, who was Desmond Xavier in TNA. You got Eddie Thorpe, who was, what was his?
Carl Fredericks.
Carl Fredericks in NJPW. And you got Ethan Page, who came from TNA and AEW. This is the real Forbidden Door. And I am almost sure we're going to have a 4-way pin next week because they have to get everybody on this card.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said they were going to do some double pin nonsense because it's got to be a multi-man match. It just has to be.
It should just be the all elite 4-way for the NXT North American title. It should get Eddie Thorpe and get Dez out of there. Sorry, Wes. Just have Wes accompany his boys in the tag team title match instead.
No.
Yes.
Wes, the greatest North American champion of all time. He's been feuding with Ricky from the start. It makes sense. I thought it was going to be a triple threat with Wes, Ethan Page, and Ricky, and then they just started throwing everybody else in.
It's going to be a triple threat. Wes is going to pin Thorpe, and Page is going to pin Lexus.
I would hope it's just Ricky versus Ethan, because Ethan's the one that keeps attacking him.
I mean, I said it earlier. The problem with that is if you pay attention to TNA and NXT, which is like 3 people, I get it. You're going to go from the Stand and Deliver card where Ethan Page doesn't win the NXT title or the NXT North American title, and then he's going to go in and get a world title shot in TNA the following Sunday. It's like, huh? What are we doing?
Well, the thing is, Joel, this is the same company, TNA, that had Joe Hendry lose an NXT World Championship matchup at No Mercy last year, then go on to lose at Bound for Glory. Then he won a couple of matches on some specials, but if you only watched the pay-per-view, you then saw him go to Genesis and then eventually win the World Championship. And people wonder why this world title reign hasn't gone as expected.
I have my feelings. It's very frustrating to watch them play out the things I say, like, oh, Kazarian should cash in LA because he's from LA and the Rebellion's in LA. And people are like, yeah, we'll do it. Let's do that. But also we're going to add Ethan Page. Oh, but also like this will be in service of nothing because Ali and Santana is absolutely the story and the match you should be doing. Like,
it's
if you
like,
don't
just put the goddamn title on Mustafa Ali. He's been the MVP for this company for a year now. He had the best programs as X Division Championship. He made me interested in a rivalry with Trent Seven in 2024. I mean, that's saying something. Then he had a great rivalry with Speedball, drops the title, comes back, says he's going after the TNA World Championship. They literally had Tasha Steelz on commentary on the same goddamn show talking about Mustafa is ready to move on from Santana and get a shot at the title. But no, we had to give it to Ethan Page from NXT. Does that make sense?
I think they'll put it on him at I don't even know. They should have done it at the pay-per-view. Really, that's the thing. It should be done at the pay-per-view because, again, this is a pay-per-view to pay-per-view company. You're not going to do it at Against All Odds, or you could do it at Under Siege in Toronto. But other than that, it's like, yeah, it's just bad. It's just not well done. And I've mentioned this before. Like, Joe Hendry has made it very clear that once he's done at TNA, we know where he's going and we know where he would like to go. And like that, good for him, but also bad for like doing business. Like he's doing what's asked of him in TNA, but like he's popular, he's their champion, crowds love him, don't get me wrong, but in service of his booking, it has been completely just shat. It's been bad. And now they're doing the whole like the injury angle. It's like, oh, if you believe, he'll be back on time. We're like, why'd you give him 3 weeks off? Where's Elijah in all this? Why isn't he going for something? It's very weird. This is all just to get to Elijah. If they do Elijah versus Hendry at Slammiversary, not for the title. Title's already off of
it. Was going to be for the title, Joe.
I thought they were going to do this at Unbreakable. I thought they were going to do Elijah versus Joe Hendry at Unbreakable just because it gets on the card, it gets the house going. Like it would at least fill the house a little bit. Like let's go see Elias. He's going to be working WrestleMania weekend. Let's go see him. Same thing that I made the joke half jokingly about doing Nick Nemeth versus JBL at Slammiversary. Because again, JBL and Dolph Ziggler, like people are going to be interested in that. And for $20 to get in the door, sure, why not? That sounds fun. I just don't know what they're trying to do here. I don't understand it, and I don't want to anymore. Shout out to JDC though; he's great. We'll talk about people who reestablished themselves and made themselves very entertaining. I like him.
They need to move on from the system being the top heel faction. I like the system. I like all the guys in the system, but the fact that they're still the top heel faction is like.
It's good and bad. They've done some stuff. Again, it's just they were priming for an Edward Edwards babyface turn. It feels like they might still get there after the pay-per-view, but yeah, I don't know. Just the system was never supposed to be a liked heel team, which is good. Like they got everything they needed out of them. Now we're just ready to move on. I think people are just like, all right, the system's here. Good for them. Moose is the X Division champion. Let's get it on Leon Slater already.
Please. I talked to Leon Slater last week. That interview is going to be dropping later this week on True Hill Heat. Love that kid. That kid had me smiling from ear to ear. We talked about his best his favorite video games, and he's like from a full decade generation. He's like 15 years younger than me. So he's saying all the games that I was playing when I was a relative late teens, early adult, where I was like these games are not as good as the ones I had growing up, but they're still a lot of fun. Like we talked about WWE 2K 2014, and he gave me PTSD from the final stage of the 30 years of the 30 years of WrestleMania mode with Cena and The Rock. I was like, how many times did it take you to beat it? So that's one of the questions that I asked, because that is a key. If anyone brings up WWE 2K14, you have to ask them, how many times did it take you to beat that John Cena versus Rock match from WrestleMania 29?
Meanwhile, he's just like, yeah, I really liked Super Mario Sunshine. I played that when I was 5 years old. And you're like, I'm going to cry. Like, I am old.
I felt old. Yeah, I'm talking to him. I was like, I feel like I'm talking to my like nephew. Like he's from a full generation away from me, but he was so cool. He's really cool. I'm rooting for him. I really want him to win the X Division Championship. We talked about the Ultimate X match and stuff like that, and then I actually had my interview with Kevin Knight drop today on Sports Illustrated, so that was cool. Got to talk to two of my favorites, two of the up and comers. That's my favorites this week.
Shout out to those two guys. They are incredible at what they're doing. And yeah, it's nice to see Kevin Knight getting his love, getting his flowers, getting his shine, and also getting his money, getting his bag. It's good stuff.
Two contract jet, as lyric gave him the nickname two contract jet. I like it a lot. Yeah, he revealed that he signed with both AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling, which, you know me, I'm very happy to hear that, because I am a Lion Mark enthusiast. Yes, Zeno Hour is correct. I am paid by Bushiroad, because New Japan Shichapan Pro Wrestling is the best promotion of 2025 so far. Until further notice, they are still the top, because Sakura Genesis was better than Dynasty.
Very excited for Windy City Riot when Takeshita beats Tanahashi so bad that he's forcing Tanahashi to give him a world title match. So he's going to win that title. He's going to bring that title in.
We need Takeshita to beat Goto. I agree. I'm done with this Goto revolution. I'm over it. Should have been the boss dog.
Shota's going to win.
Shota's not going to win.
We're good. We're good.
I think Takeshi's going to beat the shit out of. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna get to, because I mentioned, I told you this months ago, Jeremy, and you can back me up, that Takeshita was gonna walk into Forbidden Door with the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. I did say this months ago.
You did.
Yes,
you
months.
Did. I remember.
That's right. It's gonna happen, baby.
The boss dog should have been champion, though. That's all I gotta say.
Maybe sometime in the future. Let Takeshita have his moment. It's going to be the big deal.
As long as my boss dog murders Evil in the dog pound steel cage matchup, so I never have to hear Jeremy root for Evil ever again, then he's still my boss dog.
He's doing a sign. Oh, yeah. Going to see him in Vegas next week.
You got one job, Joel. One job.
They got to let me in the doors at WrestleCon first.
We got connections.
That's true. We do.
We know people. You got one job, Joel. Don't fuck it up.
All right. I'm going to walk up to him and punch him in the face, right? That's what I have to do?
Yeah, he'll murder you.
He probably will. Who am I kidding? Take me down. Psychology's better than Wolverine saying. I'm curious of the people that Joel argues with. Mostly 14-year-olds on the internet. It's okay. With the Roman Avies.
Me and Jeremy literally spent like the first 10 minutes of yesterday's episode talking about idiots on social media. So this is good. Yeah. It's a good follow-up.
I block and move on, man. I just block.
See me and Joe. This is where me and Joel are on the same page. I've blocked like 100 accounts this year alone.
Yeah, I used to mute expeditiously, but now I just. Henry, why did you out yourself like that? But the point is, I used to just mute, and now I block. I'm just like, I'm done with this shit. Like, you just don't deserve to see what I have to say, because people will take things I say way too literally. I made a joke coming out of Dynasty about a couple of things. I think it was the was it the presentation about the Death Riders? There was something I said. Oh, yeah, it was about the main event. It was, go home, show them with glass and violence. Let's start the match with some grappling. And that was the first one. And the other one was like, the paper shredder EVPs came back and they were scared of the evil badasses, but now they came back to help said evil champ retain. I said, I'm willing to give number 2 some storyline credence, but like, it's funny right now. So someone else they started saying some shit like, oh, you get paid to watch the show and you're stupid. And I'm like, all right, well, you are not going to be taking these takes in anyway. Bye-bye. So I was like, I hit it, and then I'm like, you know what? Fuck this guy. I'm just gonna block him. I don't need this.
Yeah, that's usually my reason. My 2 reasonings for blocking most people that I've blocked this year is either they tried to insult me, or they blocked me already. Because I love the feature that you can actually see people that have blocked you because you can't comment under them. So when I see someone block me that I didn't know block me, I block them back. I feel like that's the right thing to do. Keep the same energy.
It doesn't matter on Twitter anyway, because you can still see all the shit that they tweet.
Exactly. You can still see it. So I don't understand the point of doing all that, but hey.
That's why I'm on Blue Sky. It's fine. Henry, I haven't actually blocked you, have I? Because I feel like that's not something I've done. Because we do a lot of joking, and we do. But also,
I hope you have.
No,
I hope you have, too.
I think it'd be funny if you have.
It would be funny, but if I have, I will unblock you. So
I think it'd be hilarious.
Listen, some of y'all, I appreciate you, but some of y'all just don't get it when I'm not. Okay, I didn't do it. But like some of y'all just need to understand that there are certain things that I just don't need to see. And then half of them are your responses to my jokes.
There you go.
Oh, that's okay.
All right, so I'm gonna let y'all finish up this show. I really came to talk about Michael Malone, but Jeremy didn't give me much conversation. He was too busy working while he's working. This guy.
I said plenty about the NBA.
No, I know. I gotta bust your balls. You know.
I'm
You
I'm
can't
so
be
tired,
nice out here.
SP3.
I
This is
know,
why I'm taking
I
a
know.
break tomorrow. I'm so
You need
tired.
to, sir.
So tired.
I fell asleep like right after the opening segment of NXT last night. I was like, my head hurts on why this doesn't make any sense. Julia is back. Why did you do all of this? You fucking idiot. This man is on drugs again. Someone needs to check on his health.
Stop it. Stop it. Leave him alone.
SP3, I do have breaking news for you, and we'll get into this more next week. We mentioned this last week. I was going to reach out to Nikias Duncan to be on the show next week to talk Mania and basketball. So, and Nikias got back to me, setting something up for next week for Nikias. So Nikias will be on the show. We'll talk plenty of basketball. We'll also talk some WrestleMania. So there you go. So for people who hate the NBA talk, you might want to skip that show.
When's Chaclair going to be on the show?
Who? Chaclair?
Canadian rap superstar Chaclair, WWE superfan.
Oh, I feel like we did this bit before.
We
I don't
did
know
do
who this
bit.
person is.
Yes, we did. You listened to Let's Ride. You liked it.
Yeah, that's true. That song was like fine. Yeah, I don't know.
I tweeted him. I never heard back. So clearly Chaclair is just ducking me.
Cowardly.
If he's in Vegas, I'm going to find him. He's probably staying at Fontainebleau, the official hotel of WWE WrestleMania, where I hope none of the talent are staying, and I don't think they are. So,
well, I'm gonna go now, guys. It's been
Bye,
real.
SP3.
Appreciate y'all. Let me talk some NBA and swipe right. I'll be on live on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel at 1:05 p.m. Eastern time to preview NJPW Windy City Riot with J News. So check that out. And of course, I'll be back here tomorrow with Joel. I got to talk more TNA with Joel. I know everybody's going to love us talking more TNA.
We're going to talk TNA and we're going to bury AEW Dynamite. Let's go.
And of course, it's Thursday. You know what that means. WWE C-Level Review Day. I talked briefly about LFG, but Sean's hating ass came on here to hate on LFG, so I couldn't finish my review. We're going to talk some LFG and why Undertaker hates jewelry in wrestling.
It's not
that actually ruled.
Oh, looking forward to SP3 tomorrow. That'll be good stuff. Yeah, Henry's already excited. He's got it ready. Let's go. Ryan Lambert saying, Demidov coming to Montreal, baby. I'm a happy boy. All right. Yeah. What the revolving door is open this morning. Cam Hawkins is here. Cam, today I guess I can say you're from the Ringer because that was the latest thing you dropped.
There you go. Now that the DE Eitful show's over, hi guys.
Jesus.
How's it going?
Listen, it's better than when the trolls call us Whiteful, so I'll take it.
Shout out to SP3, man. I enjoy.
He's gonna come back on here and argue with you now.
I enjoyed doing this show weekend before last. Those guys have a great show. Fun getting up and talking the week and wrestling with them. Hi guys, how's it going?
How you doing, Cam?
Good.
Very, very busy. Very, very tired. I'm about halfway through this Jey Uso piece. I guess it's follow-up week. You know, we started the Ringer with Ricky Starks, and just had the thing drop with Ricky Saints yesterday. Talked to Jey Uso before, what is that, Survivor Series 2023, and now he is almost at the top of the mountain, and so we had a really fun conversation a couple of days back, and so you can expect that on Yahoo, I believe tomorrow. And then we got a big one coming up for the Ringer. There's a WWE Hall of Fame, and they're doing something new this year, and gonna have a conversation about that with the guy. So that should be fun. Bucket list stuff,
Ken Shamrock, the referee. Why is he not part of the induction?
Who Snowden would fight me if I got, Snowden, who's like written the Ken Shamrock book. He would take me out, man. But no, I'm sure Joel's emails they've done everything late this year, and they being whatever organization you want to speak on. And so yesterday was like big email day. Can you come to this? Can you come to that? And so yeah, it is. It's a lot. In a week, I guess we'll all kind of be there. And so they're gearing up. They were like, what time was it? It was like noon on Tuesday. It's like, hey, can you talk to Orton today? I'm like, no, I can't. Like, I don't have a job. No, I can't just stop doing what I'm doing. But yeah, I think everybody's it's all hands on deck for everybody from every direction. Had a really fun call about something that we're doing with PWI and Wale Mania. So that's gonna be really fun. Just man, a million things going. I don't know if I might have told you guys. I think since the last time we talked, this changed. On Friday, I got the call that I'm going to be like the face of Uncrowned socials while I'm there. So less alcohol, I guess. Thanks, guys. I gotta.
Hey, man, sometimes you got to grow up and do the business. I get it.
I gotta be super public facing, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, it's great. Love it. It's like 25,000 people on the IG. I'm like, great, fantastic, love it. Can't wait to do it. But it should be really fun.
You should do the Kevin Weeks bit. I don't know if you follow Kevin Weeks, the former NHL goaltender. He does breaking news stuff now, but like he holds his phone and you only see like forehead up when he does these breaking news.
Like a little kid.
Like
a little kid on FaceTime. I love that.
Yeah. He's like, anyway, Mikko Rantanen has been traded, and like it's only just his forehead, and he's got like different backgrounds and everything. So he might be drunk the whole time, and we just don't know because he smartly just hides that portion. So there you go. You can get that's how you can also get away with it, Cam.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to sitting next to Joel at Stand and Deliver with all these multi-person matches that are just it is a lot going on down there. It was interesting because of course, you write the things you think are going to happen. Shout out to John Alba, who once famously wrote an entire piece about Cody Rhodes winning the main event of WrestleMania 39, and it didn't happen. And he's just the most polite person when he's frustrated, but boy, he was mad. But I also assume like it's going to be Rick and Ethan, just because like I think that works the best. Everything shouldn't be super multi-man, even though if ever a show is multi-person. I mean, this is probably the most athletic between men and women roster that's ever existed. All due respect to AEW, but they don't run as many multi-person matches like on their big pay-per-view events. They can definitely compete there. But yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do it with the athletes that you have who can really go in there and create a bunch of movement, but also don't do it though.
Got to get as many people in the company on the card as you can.
Got to give them that Mania payday.
As many multi-man matches as you can do.
There you go.
I don't want to fight Busted Open. I can't now because now I got to really be on camera. What if I lose? Then Ariel's like, yo, you can't come back. I can't come back to Uncrowned. No, you can't come back. Like you stay out there until you figure it out.
What if we just send menacing videos to David LaGreca just for days on end? What if we just do that instead?
I remember my first time meeting him. I was sitting next to him at the Royal Rumble, and before you couldn't bring friends and family, I had a young lady with me, and he asked her, "Where are you from?" And she says, "San Antonio." And I just put my hand down and just kept going about my business. It was very sweet. It was very genuine. But yeah.
I think people know we very much like the Busted Open host.
Oh, don't ruin the bit, Joel. Keep taking shots.
Beat his ass.
Keep taking shots at LaGreca and all these people.
That's right. I'll send him a menacing text today. Just to
What's really interesting about this year, so Netflix is like very much involved in the PR and media of WrestleMania weekend. And so like it was Netflix who actually like invited media to Wale Mania. And it's Netflix who are invited media to the Raw after Mania, and an event that they're having earlier that day. So I thought that was an interesting, and I think that's part of the reason things took as long as they did. You know, normally WWE, when it's just them, they're typically a bit faster about this, but I think going with Netflix, probably different clearances, different rules, all that kind of stuff. I didn't realize till yesterday when I was looking for something to watch that, Kill Tony's on Netflix.
Yep, that's why they did it.
What a bomb.
I told people from the get-go that's why they were doing it.
You did. I think I recall you saying that. Yeah.
He was going to be doing the thing with Netflix. Same thing with like seeing Fluffy all over the place. I like Fluffy. I like Gabriel Iglesias, but he's all over the place because he's all over Netflix. Like it's the integration is there. It was always part of the plan. So
I'm wondering how different Wale Mania is going to look and how different the rules will be, because for years it was like you would have to get fan cam of anything because there was no official recording, because favorite wrestlers are out there drinking and partying by themselves and with one another in a world where that wasn't always okay. So it's going to be really interesting what the rules are going to be that are different. Like, I seriously doubt they're going to be able to bring a camera back when Van left 300 chicken wings next to the Hennessy bar. Like, I don't think people are going to be able to see that. Like, you probably see some really cool stuff on stage. I think the Jeff Hardy thing with his induction is going to be really, really cool. Hey, I asked, you guys know who it is, but I emailed him, I DM'd him, I said, hey, Jeff Hardy's going into the Wale Mania Hall of Fame. He's going to get celebrated. I would love to interview him about how he exists, not just in like hip hop culture adjacent, but just how a whole generation of young men and women came up on him and Matt Team Extreme having that attitude, have that idea. And the message I got back was,
wait, stop. TNA Superstars will not be available for any on-camera in-person interviews during the week of WrestleMania in Las Vegas.
Oh, this was about a thing to come out just written going into next week.
TNA Superstars will not talk about anything that is not TNA related.
But it's not even WWE related, technically, right?
Oh, don't you worry.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Like, but the response I really got was, I don't get it. That was the gist of it. I was like, I laid it out pretty flat. Like, what do you mean? Like, okay.
No, that's incredibly on point. That's incredibly on point.
That's a really great question. I'll ask about that because I don't know. Like, it shouldn't. Because again, it's a Netflix thing, but it's not a WWE thing. Which
I don't see a reason, and this is me speaking. I have no information, I have nothing on this. I don't see a reason why it would affect, like why Netflix would affect AEW wrestlers being at Wally Mania. Like, it's more of a celebration of not just the culture, but like of wrestling and WrestleMania weekend, whatever. But like, there's no wrestling going on. There are no agendas being pushed. Like, it's
just, Jeff Hardy's the guest of honor.
Yeah.
It's there. I tell you, there's never been a problem. But again, I don't think that, wrestlers who aren't in WWE appear on Netflix programming.
This isn't WWE Wally Mania. It is Wally Mania airing on Netflix. So I could be wrong. I read it as I don't expect any issues or pushback. And again, they're not actively performing on the show, maybe singing, but like other than that,
But last year, and it was few and far between, but wasn't, and you guys let me know if I'm remembering this wrong, wasn't there kind of AEW wrestlers will not, cannot, should not be in Philly last year? Or am I gassing that? I feel like there was one year that was the case.
I mean, they ran Supercard last year in Philly, so there were
I was there.
still wrestlers.
What am I talking about?
Yeah. I don't think that's fully.
it's because at one point there was a report that went out that this year AEW was going to pull a bunch of talent from Mania week, and then it ended up being there are some talent that are not performing that week, but also they haven't pulled everybody.
Yeah, and they're not having a super card, right?
And they're not in super
There's
card.
no supercard. They're doing live Collision on Thursday, so that would prevent people from being there on Thursday. I would think when it comes to the Netflix and AEW, I feel like it'll be fine if they're there. I do think there will be some sort of hey, don't wear any AEW clothing.
Yeah.
Like don't have an AEW hoodie on or something like that. So it might be that route that they go.
I can't imagine MVP not being like,
yeah,
right.
Like, come on. Yeah. So, and then, well, she doesn't work there anymore, but yeah, no, it's, oh, Joel, I'm not ready. Not ready for any of this.
I'm slowly getting my bags are here. My clothes are here. My computer is here. My questions are getting slowly done, but I'm still trying to set everything going off.
I'm not talking to anyone unless something happened last year where we were at WWE World and I get a text like, hey, can you come interview Jade and flip that into a thing like today? And I asked and they were like, no, what are you talking about? But Yahoo, I think being a bit more robust, something like that could happen. I absolutely hope it doesn't. Again, I'm touching 40, man. I want to have these things in order. I want to be able to go to them and then just kind of be a part of the normal flow of things. I don't want to adjust. And it's Vegas. And so like, I want to again, I do want to still, now I can't even eat shrimp with my shirt off. That sucks. That was like,
you're just not giving yourself the time to do it. That's all.
Man. Oh man, we're not getting on stage and we're absolutely not.
No. Like I said, I will happily.
Come on, get Joel up there.
No, I will. If I'm welcome, I will happily attend and enjoy it. But I'm not going to put myself out there if I'm not welcome up there.
The last thing I'll say, boy, wrestling fans are
the worst
exes sometimes.
Oh yeah, that too.
Oh yeah.
Had to just step away. I have one thing I've always appreciated about my friends whenever they go through like a breakup. They've never been like, she wasn't shit in the first place. It's like, no, you cared and you were supposed to care and you never want things to end, but you should try your best to be happy because if no other reason, you need to be happy. And I hope some wrestling fans eventually get there. But okay, I have a student coming. Guys, I'll talk to you soon.
Cameron, tell the Netflix people to email me directly.
I will actually, I know a guy over there. Okay, guys. Later.
Appreciate you, pal.
Thanks, Cam. Everyone go check out the interview he did with Ricky Saints.
Yes.
That's on the Ringer right now. So
I'm glad he got to do that, by the way.
Yeah.
After everything with Ricky, after everything.
I want the audio of
yes.
that. I think the audio, Cam does great written work. I really want the audio of that though.
Yeah. We'll see. I know that's been a lot of. I know with Uncrowned, it's been a lot of talk about releasing or not the audio of those calls. But yeah, I'd like to hear the stuff from that one with Ricky. But we'll see. As always, Cam showing up is unexpected and always appreciated. Someone had said Joel wants to have other people come on the show so he doesn't have to talk about AEW. I hadn't planned for Cam. Once he popped up in our chat, it's usually I can expect him to show up at one point. I hadn't invited him, but he knows he's always welcome. So it's just another.
Just showed up. Like this is.
He had kind of said like I'm done my shift at 11, so I'm gonna pop on talk about the NBA. Like he had said in the chat, and I was like, I didn't stop him, and I wasn't going to because he hosts this show too. So he's always, he can do that. So that I knew was coming.
People got the link; they can show up whenever they want.
Yeah,
I do think it is funny that they showed up when we were going to go into the AEW talk, and then do you still want to talk? Do you want to give your thoughts on Dynasty?
I'll give a couple of thoughts. the three-way, the international channel. I'm not going to bury it. So here's the thing. So the show was 4.5 hours, which is longer than most of their shows. And I know that for some people that really got under their craw, and like rightfully so, it's a late night. I'm not. I watched it in two separate halves. So I mentioned that my mom was in town. My mom was actually in town for a wedding that she was attending that I wasn't invited to.
Why did you get invited to this wedding, Joel?
Family friends, but I wasn't really friends with the kid who was getting married.
Are you not family?
No, not their family. But anyway, these are people that like I grew up with the middle son, and
you should have crashed it.
No, and the thing is, they were like, "You can come if you want," and I was like, "I don't want to," because I just wanted to. I wanted to.
The old, yeah. If you really want to come, fine, you can come.
But also, like, when my mom is here, she is in the guest room, and where my office is. So, like, I had not had access to my office since Thursday, and this space is my chill space. This is where I can do work while also being productive. And the wedding happened to be on Sunday night during the pay-per-view. So she had left. Once I put the kid down, the pay-per-view was starting. So like I got to sit and actually like chill out and watch all the way till the international championship match live. And then I realized it's 11 o'clock. My mom came home from the wedding and I was like, all right, this is perfect. I was probably going to stop here anyway, pick it up in the morning. And that's what I did. So like I had the fresh eyes of watching the last two matches. Great match. The international championship three-way match was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. There was a story there that some people have mentioned, and I'll mention it too. Speedball has also mentioned it too. The Speedball and Kenny dynamic of Speedball has the Ultima weapon, which is a reference to Final Fantasy VII, and Kenny Omega uses the One-Winged Angel as his finish, which is also a reference to Final Fantasy VII and its main character that Sephiroth becomes at the end. And the whole match is Speedball trying to hit this Ultima weapon, which is what would normally take out Sephiroth in Final Fantasy VII, and he never hits it. And then eventually Kenny gets it on Ricochet to end the match. Stuff like it's nerdy as hell, but to me it was fun to watch. The show, the match itself was great. I understand at that point it had been a long night and people were like feeling the way they felt. But again, my fresh eyes enjoyed that. And then the main event. I made the joke earlier with SP3. Like you did a glass beat down, hot angle finish, and you started with chain wrestling. Yeah, you started with the feel it out. And I'm like, what was the point of this? it was very funny and very silly to me. But more egregious than any of that is the fact that the Death Riders now have an LED presentation in their entrance. Like as they're coming through the hallway, they have the red LEDs and the gel lights. And I'm like, we're overdoing the Death Riders. These gritty badasses are now getting the lighting treatment. But by the way, the camera work to get to Mox when they're doing a very smooth, like around the corner camera work with whoever was doing the steady cam work, that shit was great. I just felt it was weird for the random, like the red lights. When I saw it in the trios match, I was like, okay, come on. Why are we putting up lights? They're supposed to be gritty, not official. It was fine. The match itself, the main event, other people have made reference to it. It's becoming the death line or the blood riders, right? You're waiting until people get involved to get to the finish. And that's how it felt here. And you tease the Hangman stuff. Fine. It was what it was. I think they could have done more with it, but I feel like they're going to play it out a little further. I hope they are going to play it out further. It feels like they are. Instead, he eventually hits Deadeye on Mox, does Hangman. And I'm like, okay, it's great. The Ops come out. They said they were going to be at the pay-per-view. They're clearly going after the trios titles. They are a trio. Sure, this is the way to introduce that. And then the lights go out. And Matt, I love this. Jay Girl saying Matt and Nick Sakoa. And that's exactly what it was. It was that moment. And that's where I made the joke. I'm like, these guys were shredding documents and afraid of the Death Riders 3 months ago. And now they're back and they're helping this guy. So like, what will the story be? Is there a story? I hope that there is. And that's why I laugh about it, because it made people angry, which makes me laugh. But also, like, you and I, Jeremy, sat here for a solid 2 weeks saying, I don't think Swerve's going to win. And it turns out it's exactly that. Swerve didn't win. Tony is really good at two things. sticking to the plan and not diverting, and tradition, because Double or Nothing is probably going to be Anarchy in the Arena, because Double or Nothing is Anarchy in the Arena show. It was fine. I didn't care much for the finish. They're back. They have stuff to do, but the back of my head, Jeremy, I think Spring Breakthrough now more than ever. This is the final spot. This is what you need to see. This is it. This is the moment. And if you want to talk about tradition, and you want to talk about Tony Khan, who loves to make everything right again, Tony Khan has the opportunity to do the Spring Breakthrough final Nitro moment where Shane comes in and buys WCW. You have a chance to redo the invasion line and do it right. And on top of that, what's he buying? I don't know. It doesn't matter. That's less important. An invasion angle. You have that. But what you also have to do is Tony Khan is the man who said to Sting, I want to give you a final match with dignity. And he said to Jake Roberts, I want to give you your reputation back in wrestling. So I'm going to pitch you with Lance Archer, and you're going to build him up to be a monster and be very effective as a manager. People are going to love you again. He saw what Shane McMahon did at WrestleMania 39. And he said, I can't let my guy go out on like this. Once he's healed, I got to get Shane his moment back. I got to give him his opportunity. And this is it. The Bucks and Shane McMahon back again.
I'm for this. You know I'm for this. I think it'd be fantastic. I think it would rule. People would hate it. I don't care. I don't care if they hate it. I would absolutely love it. I don't think that's where it's going to go. The Bucks stuff made sense, by the way. Like SP3 and I talked about it. Were they scared of the Death Riders, or were they working with the Death Riders? Because they never attacked the Death Riders or anything.
Right.
They kept saying, that doesn't involve us. That doesn't involve us. Does it not involve you because you were with them? And the fact that they helped them here kind of makes it seem that's the way it's going. Obviously, we'll learn more. Tune in to Dynamite tonight, live 8 p.m. Eastern, only on TBS, following the Big Bang Theory, also simulcasting on Max. So I guess it's technically not only on TBS, it's also on Triller for our international fans.
Gotta get it right.
So there is that. There is some intrigue with the Bucks stuff. People are mad because they wanted Swerve to win. And so that's why they hated the end of this pay-per-view, which I get. I thought the pivot probably should have just been go ahead, get Swerve the victory and do Swerve and Hangman. Like I don't like the Swerve and Hangman potentially teaming more than I hate anything else coming out of this. I'm like, oh yeah, Moxley's still a champion. Sure. Young Bucks are back. They're great. Young Bucks aligning with the Death Riders, maybe helping them. Okay, fine. Like I draw the line at Swerve and Hangman teaming. No.
That's
no.
fair. I get it.
I don't want it. I don't want them teaming.
This is something you and I also discussed, and I know that you didn't want these two teaming up, and it makes sense why you wouldn't. I don't think they will. I'd also kind of referenced this. I don't believe it so much now, but I said if Swerve is going to lose, if they hadn't done what they did on Wednesday with the, I'm sorry, I know. Sorry, that's a Star Wars reference, but the point where I love you, I know. If they hadn't done that, then what I thought maybe they would do is Swerve is the wild card. And Swerve got himself into the thing, and it'd be Swerve and Hangman in the first round, and that's a hot match, blah, blah, blah. But I think it's more likely now, as others have pointed out, and I agree, that it's just going to be Jack Perry. Not just going to be. There is a storyline reason to include Jack Perry in this, but I could see it being Jack. If they want to toss Swerve in and make it a, one of you is going to go for the world title, then you could. But I think it's more likely that the Bucks get involved and screw Hangman for trying to get involved, and also not just trying to, but successfully getting involved, hitting the buckshot on Mox, and causing a problem for the world champion that they helped retain the world title from. So again, you're slowly rebuilding that elite, right? Kazuchika Okada came out, he confronted Kenny. We know that is most likely the scenario for All in Texas, but you got to get there beforehand. Jack Perry did the whole thing with pouring the guts on Kenny's cake before we never saw him again. The Bucks are back, so now it's time to reunite the Elite, and this is this version of the Elite. This is the way you can do it. So I could see that. I could see that being the play, is bringing Jack back as the wild card.
It does feel.
Josh Alexander another time, by the way. Just wait for another time for him.
It does feel. It was a year ago, not quite to the day, but just about a year ago, that they did the Tony Khan angle where they took him out with the TK driver and he wore the neck brace at the NFL draft, and Shad looked like he was about to fight a man. Now it's in our intro video. Shad looked like he was about to, fight, beat the Young Bucks asses. It was about a year ago that happened. And then the follow-up was what it was. And then they did the Death Rider stuff. And that started off hot as well. And then it just kind of went a little downhill from there. It does feel they're trying to make both things work. And it's logical. I do think if they do end up pairing up together, there's a logic story there with the Young Bucks. Maybe they were pulling the strings the whole time, and the way they were getting it done, they didn't feel like it was really working because Jack Perry failed to win the title from Danielson. So they recruited Mox to do it. There's a logical story there. But it does, if you take a step back and look at it, like, oh yeah, you kind of like didn't get either of them right. So now we're going to kind of put them together and hope we get it right this time. And I do think that's part of the frustration of fans is they see this as well. And it's like, all right, kind of makes sense, but we'd rather you just pivot off of Swerve or pivot off of Moxley and all of this and just go with Swerve and Hangman because they're the hottest people in the company, instead of let's try to make this invasion angle work.
My hope is that we look back on it and say this was maybe a dip in a story, not the creator of the story, because I'm willing to, I get that people have the let it play out issue. It's not that I'm willing to let it play out. It's just that I'm curious that if this is in service of Will Ospreay maybe winning the Owen and carrying the world title into Forbidden Door because they're in the UK this year for that show, maybe like that's a thing you could do. And I would be okay with that if we're trying to keep Ospreay away from the Mox Death Rider stuff. But it does suck your main event. Like it does. When you're putting on 30-minute matches, you're not in a good way, not beating up 5 guys. It sucks your main event because you have 30 minutes of wrestling with a guy who is a little more hardcore, right? The Moxley stuff, like again, I joked about it earlier, but it was really strange to see them open up this wrestling match with wrestling when they've been kind of attacking each other. Like this, the whole thing started like Swerve won the number 1 contendership and he celebrated by taking down Jon Moxley after the pay-per-view. Like it started off with a hot angle. So for them to be like, all right, now let's lock up. And it's like, well, test the strength. What? Why aren't you doing? And like they built, but it was just jarring. Even they did the same thing with Cope. I don't know who is, I don't know if it's agenting or at least like who's producing their matches. I don't know who Mox has working with him when it comes to putting together the match, but like they have to sit down and just say, John, have you thought about why you want to start this way and why this match should be like this? Because it's the antithesis of what has been built on this television show for the last 3-4 weeks. And it's like, oh, we'll get to it. Well, we'll get to the hardcore stuff. It's like, but why not start with it and then lull into it? It's very confusing the way they're laying out the matches. I think that's something that's annoying people.
Yeah. I mean, I liked the Moxley Swerve match for what it was. It was not the right match for the story they went for, granted, because as you said, the buildup was, hey, this is really hot and heated. And the final angle we saw was you got slammed through glass and then got up and, oh shit, this man's the Terminator. And then, hey, let's do some mat wrestling. Now it didn't fully work out. Like that was incorrect way to go about things. And then the closing stuff, I know other people pointed it out, but Swerve just like being held by the Bucks and like, oh fuck, I can't escape these 2 guys as they look around.
The wrist control.
Amazing wrist control. that they have. It's like, yeah, Swerve should have felt a little bit more dangerous there. But what can you do?
I thought about this and I was thinking, is this going to come off as too nitpicky? And I'm glad you brought it up. Was like, yeah, the lights come on, the Bucks are there, and they have to do the look, and then they have to put their arm in the air to signal the EVP trigger. But at that point, like Swerve could have gotten out of it. He could have jumped up, kicked them both in the dick, whatever they could have done. But that's the way it is.
Yeah.
I get why people who were watching live were deflated by it. I had the ability to watch it the next day, and for me, it didn't hurt my feelings as much. I'm never nitpicky about any wrestling ever. Death Riders, get rid of the lights in your back room entrance. It's not good. Keep the camera though. Steady cam's a good touch. Shane McMahon coming in, he's going to be the guy. Spring Breakthrough is going to be a great show, right? Yeah.
I mean, I hope they just take a bunch of shots at WCW. It would rule.
All the champions they can muster. And sorry, now I am going to get nitpicky. If you're a wrestler and you wear sneakers with kick pads, stop. If you're wearing like kick pads and no shoes, that's fine. Kick pads and wrestling shoes is ideal, but kick pads with sneakers looks like you're about to play home plate. Even if you're a 5-tool player, it still doesn't look good.
Okay,
that's my last hot take.
Okay, but he's a 5-tool player, so him playing like looking like he's trying to play home plate kind of makes sense.
Yeah, maybe he should wear a mask while he's at it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Anthony Dragon Splitter Bowens.
Good for him. Hey, he came back. People were excited. Having Billy there was just hilarious. I was like, why is this big bitch with him? What are we doing? Is there money he thinks could be made off of this? Like, what are we doing here? It's fine. You mentioned Shad Khan earlier coming out during that promo or during that the original takedown of Tony Khan. And I thought to myself, what would Shad Khan versus George Mizanin look like? That's a match we need to see. It would rule. Maybe that's it. Shane McMahon comes back and it's going to be Shad Khan versus George Miz.
I mean, I'm for it. That would be fantastic. Yeah.
We should do that. Anyway, those are my little thoughts on Dynasty. I thought the show was fine. I think that the Megan Bayne and Toni Storm match was really well done, especially the finish. I like that they did the roll up. I like that they did the inside package. There was a good way to do it. So Megan Bayne stays strong. Tony uses some of the work that she had used earlier to get the job done. I swear to God, if anybody ever comes to Philly again and does a fucking Rocky reference, I'm going to scream. Stop it. Stop doing it.
What do you mean Rocky?
The pre-show montage was all Rocky. Well, was it all about Rock? Is that what?
That was timeless. That was timeless Tony Storm, Joel.
Sure it was.
I don't think there was a Rocky reference in there. I feel like you're confusing things.
I hate you. Ryan Adams said a super chat. I was about to reference this, so thank you. WWE has announced that entering the Hall of Fame through the Legacy Wing are Kamala, Dory Funk Sr., and Ivan Koloff. Congratulations to them. They're joining the 2025 WWE Hall of Fame in the Legacy class. You can find the WWE Hall of Fame in the old Titan Towers in the middle elevator if it's still intact. I had to think for a minute, by the way, because of the assholes when we were in election season that couldn't pronounce Kamala and Kamala. So I had to be like, which one is the right one? In this case, it's Kamala. The wrestler is Kamala. The politician was Kamala. If you were that person, fuck you if you were doing it just because. You get a hard F out of me on that one. Anyway, and shout out to Kevin Owens. I wasn't here to talk about it, but he's Canadian. I'm contractually obligated to appreciate and love the work that he does, and I do, regardless of where he's from. But he's fantastic, and it sucks to see that he's going to be out for a little bit. Hopefully, not for too long. I know that there's uncertainty how long when it comes to neck and healing, how long that could take. But hopefully, he's back when he's ready, and it's not too far off. So that's all I wanted to add in because I love Kevin Owens.
Yeah, we talked about Kevin on Monday, and always best wishes to Kevin. He rules.
Absolutely. Is there anything else that we need to talk about before we head on out for another day and you take tomorrow mostly off?
I don't think so. I'm trying to. No.
Is Adam Cole going to have Bay Bay written on the TNT title plates?
I hope he just has a baby, and then like that's the championship.
You know what sucks?
How custom would that be?
When he and Britt were together, I think it was me and Cher Delaware. We kept making the joke together that like if she's pregnant, we're gonna have to talk about having Adam Cole's baby. And it's just, you know, we can't make that reference anymore because they're not together. But still, I still think about that, having Adam Cole's baby.
Okay.
These are things we think about.
Yeah,
how to pronounce names properly and who's having whose baby.
Okay.
He'll get a mini title, TNT title, and calls it the baby title. All right. I think that's all I got. Tonight on AEW Dynamite, we have 3 matches announced. Swerve Strickland is going to take on Pac. I'm surprised he's not taking on Claudio. But anyway, because the Death Riders, Claudio and Wheeler, are going to take on the Ops, Mimosa Joe and Hook. And then the Owen Hart Foundation Women's Tournament continues. Chris Statlander takes on Thunder Rosa. Toni Storm is on commentary, so I have to guess that one of these 2 women will be facing Toni Storm for the Women's Championship at Double or Nothing. Congratulations to Thunder Rosa, who will be going into Double or Nothing as the contender for Toni Storm's title. Do you have anything to add going into tonight's AEW Dynamite? Live on TBS.
No.
Okay, wonderful. Just needed to make sure. I don't think the escorts will be paid enough to be on my team. So sorry, Zeno Hour. Anyway, that's it. We're good? Nothing to plug?
I never have anything to plug.
All right. Go eat your lunch. Jeremy Lambert, you know who I am. We're gonna have some pasta. I got some leftovers.
Okay.
You know, you got something? You can eat something?
Peanut butter and banana sandwich.
Is there jam as well, or you just do the peanut butter banana?
No jelly or anything. Just peanut butter banana. Yeah.
Well, then leave a thumbs up for peanut butter banana, or don't. Leave the thumbs up anyway. Just do it for whatever you want to do it for. For Jeremy Lambert, you know who I am. SP3 and I are back tomorrow. Jeremy will probably pop in, but I'll be doing a Thursday show for a change and a Friday show. My God, what am I doing? Making up for the rest of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, friends of Beyond the Binary, we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.